What's good, what's poppin', gamers? Welcome back. It's time for some Carat Clash number 4 action, and I know you guys are prepped with all of your Umas getting ready for Champions Meet Taurus Cup coming up on this Sunday. But this is going to be a good opportunity to once again see where you guys are at in comparison to the other trainers that you guys might be running into. But we're going to be seeing a bunch of trainers. You're going to be seeing a couple commentators here. My name is Jitsu, and I'm hanging out with Saya on the mic once again. How you doing?
It's been a while. You went on a bit of a big trip. Saw you on the Evo broadcast, and now you're back for some horses. I guess, have you kept up? Have you kept up with the developments in the Champions meeting?
So I've been trying to. I know a lot of folks, as soon as kind of the conditions for Champions meeting were announced, everybody immediately got to work, right? Obviously last Carat Clash as well kind of had the same conditions to see where people were at in their, Champions meeting training. And now we're seeing what's gonna happen with another week of preparation. So a lot of folks realizing like, oh, it's not just about, blue sparks, like having the 9-star. That's kind of like that base level that you already have. It's not even just about the pink sparks, right? Making sure that you can, get S in turf, get S in medium. Now people are thinking, oh, okay, how can we, really min-max in the grandparents, the great grandparents, making sure that we're set up with the proper white sparks. How do we get as many, green skills, and a lot of these other inherits as possible. So it should be interesting. I've been doing a little bit of catch-up work on my own, trying to get at least a decent Champions meeting team, but I'm sure, even looking at our first match, right, this round number 2, my team would probably pale in comparison.
Yeah, it's only round 2, but with how the bracket has been formulated this time, I spent quite a while digging through sheets. It's actually like 5 different stacked modulo functions to get this all to work.
Oh my god.
And thankfully it hasn't broken. But we're looking at the round 2s going on here, and there are only scary trainers. I think someone was like, oh, is this an accurate picture of what Champions meeting is going to be like? And immediately everyone said, no, like, this is way harder.
Yeah, exactly. This is a lot of folks. So I know last week we had 221 folks, and I'm seeing quite a lot of Excel rows in this spreadsheet that we got going on here. So I'm assuming we have a pretty similar turnout. So a lot of folks here, obviously with this in mind and Champions meeting in mind, these are the top percenters. I don't know where I would estimate it at, but this is like, later and later on into the rounds that you guys are going to be seeing for Champions Meet. What you're not going to be seeing, in Carat Clash that you will be seeing in Champions Meeting is some of the more casual players that are like, oh, I forgot about Champions Meeting. Let me put in my best 1 or 2 Umas. I'll just toss in a third there and see what happens and how far I can go. This is, where folks take the competition a little bit more seriously.
Yeah, and especially this particular player, Melt Up. I think, so seeding in Uma tourneys is a little bit goofy, of course. Previous results are highly matchup-based and luck-based. But there's a few people that I tossed at the top to not make them fight each other too early. And I believe Meltup's one of them. I don't remember exactly why, but I think they made it pretty far in the previous one. And the previous one was 200 and something entrance. So,
yes.
And this horse, this Uma, TM Opera O, although the stamina is pretty low, I can see this horse getting it done.
Yeah, I'm looking at the stats right now. Like, we look at 1200 speed and we're like, all right, that's baseline. That's minimum, right? We see the wit and we're like, all right, that's pretty solid, right? A lot of the benchmarks happen to be around like 300, 500. So we're, as you guys, are wants to remind us at all times, Umamusume is a bit of a wit game. So, we have the double gold recoveries as well. So maybe we'll be teetering on the edge of running into some of these nice nature debuffers, which I know a lot of folks on the timeline have really been training up recently. But you got Swinging Maestro, you got Gourmand, you got a decent, floor here to try and work with and stay alive as far as stamina goes.
Yeah, we'll have to see. What happens here. But we're going to head right into the race because everyone is ready and we should be good to go. And it also looks like this is a recurring theme, but I've forgotten to change the scoreboard's number again.
Oh, all good. You know, guys, we are in Carat Clash number 4. I know last week was super fun with 200 folks, but now it's going to be even crazier. Again, you guys have had another week to train up your evil championship teams. And speaking of evil, right, we see a couple nice natures here. There's got to be at least one person who is running her as like a main contender, their ace, right? But I feel like 99% of the nice natures, maybe even some of the tachyons that we're going to see as well, are probably much more leaning towards the debuff side.
Yep. Well, we'll see how it goes here. Especially with how this track is, I think people are really aiming for 900 plus stamina, and of course, the S on medium is so important. It just gives you so much more speed, and I think a lot of people consider it nearly necessary.
Yeah, a lot of folks, especially going into the initial champions meeting advice, they were like, oh, if you can get S, it would be really nice. Like 5% is good. And then you realize 5% of the max, right? 5% of 1200 is like 120, 130 extra speed. So, and everybody is already pumping out at the top of their stats, these extra stats, which can push you, you know, a little bit further, including those green skills like we saw as well. You know, being able to exceed some of those caps is super important.
Yep. All right. Well, early on, not much happening so far, but my eyes are on that Grass Wonder, who is very far forward. Not what we usually see from these Grass Wonders, right? Usually they're either debuffers or a little bit further back, but this Grass Wonder is chasing that McQueen.
Yeah, exactly. She's staying up at the front. I wonder what the you know, strategy is there. Maybe a couple pace chasers, and there just happen to be no front runners looking up here. But we got Major McQueen, Grass Wonder up there in the front, taking up that second pack. Of course, it's TM Opera O, Ogre Cap, Agnes Tachyon, and Nice Nature pulling up the rear, and a few folks just condense towards that end closer pack.
Yep, just continuing onwards here. Mano Top Gun all the way at the back, and Mano Top Gun's been an interesting choice that has been favored by a lot of trainers, but the one thing that she struggles with is just getting blocked by the gold chip, outpowered, and that's a very real factor here, especially with Ugu's gold chip hanging out at the back, ready to close.
Yeah, it's terrifying. You see that gold chip, and we've seen some stellar performances, especially last week from gold chip, so you can really never count her out. She's terrifying, just waiting in the wings as we head around this final corner here, and now we're going to start popping some of these ults.
Right, rushing forward is TM Opera O. So many ults popping. A bit late for the HP refund from Agnes Tachyon, but we'll still try to make the last spurt regardless. Everyone's condensing near the front here, Jisoo. It's going to be close.
Yeah, let's see it. Ogre Cap up in the front. TM Opera O starting to take a lead, but it's neck and neck with Ogre Cap right behind. Fighting for second, or fighting for third, rather. Agnes Tachyon finally taking a lead over the McQueen that was so far ahead for so much of the race, but TM Opera O should be taking the lead here. It's so hard for Ogre Cap to try and take that first place, and still it's going to be TM Opera O across the line, but no, Ogre Cap overcomes. Agnes Tachyon just barely not able to accelerate in time. So close, just barely ahead, separating 1 and 2, but there we go. TM Opera O from good old Melt Up themselves is going to be taking that first place.
Yeah, really, really interesting standings here, but Melt Up just falling barely short to Ugu there. The Ogre Cap by a head. It gets past, and Agnes Tachyon, did she run out of HP? Surely not, right?
Maybe, yeah.
Well, it actually looks like she did.
This is a lot of stamina. Oh, but you do only have the 1 gold, right?
Yeah, and also like 874 isn't low, but in a world of debuffers, it might be a little bit low.
Exactly. If everyone was running in their own lane, unaffected by every other Uma, it would be chill, right? But we live in a world of Agnes Tachyons. We live in a world of Grass Wonders, and especially of evil natures, right? So you got to be, you know, you got to have a little bit of padding to make sure that, especially if that character is your ace, you know, they have more than enough stamina to stay alive. But man, the Ogre Cap just barely able to pull ahead in that final moment there. I mean, Major McQueen, TM Opera O were doing so well for quite a bit of time in that race. But yeah, the Agnes Tachyon just barely not able to overcome.
Yep. And, well, pretty interesting one. Ugu actually coming out of nowhere. The bracket sheet is sorted by Discord username, so not even going by Ugu there. In fact, an incredibly long username that I can't seem to find at the moment, but it's somewhere there. But yeah, it's really telling how everyone's just leveled up their Uma so much, and we're probably going to go to round 3 in just a second here. Any other thoughts?
I don't know, man. If this is how close it's going to be just in round 2, which, as a reminder, guys, we have round 1, which is our, top 243. Round 2 already condenses it down 33% down to that top 81. And as we head later and later on into the rounds, next round number 3, it's going to be top 27 into top 9 into top 3. So those final 9 Umas. So hopefully you guys are excited for the rest of the action. Hopefully, if you're watching along the sides and you're like, wait, these stats are crazy. I'm looking at my own Umas. I don't know if I'm going to survive in Champions Meeting. Just a reminder, these are the grinders. These are the gamers who are really trying to show their stuff, not only for Champions Meeting, but also for Carat Clash. So don't get too discouraged. Just have a good time watching along.
Oh, but we're going to take a look at a round 3 matchup between some players you might be familiar with. It's Burr, the champion of one of the Carat Clashes, versus Shino. And a third member I do not recognize, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'm seeing, so it's CHRLL. I don't think that's 2 capital I's, so what do I call them? Krull? Crawl? I'm sure you guys are familiar with this gamer. I haven't gotten to see them yet. Shino, of course, a homie of mine, was, I believe, on commentary last week and the week before, if I'm not mistaken, for Carat Clash. So you guys have seen him. You love him, and you know that he's a rice shower enjoyer as well. I'm sure going to be trying to represent her as best as he can. And, I mean, making it to round number 3, again, a lot of these gamers have really been training up their Umas, so getting to round number 3 is already an accomplishment in and of itself. But you're going up against Bear, right? Someone who has already shown quite the prowess in Uma training.
Yeah, and round 3 is already top 27. The cuts are brutal here in this tournament. And I'm seeing some familiar faces in the round 3 that have survived, but also many who have not. Juan Vivo, actually a finalist in the massive one last time.
Yes. Yeah.
Did not make it past round 2.
Yeah, that was 3rd place from last week, by the way, which shows you, 7 days. You're like, all right, it's another week. We're probably going to see the same old faces, in these top 27s, these top 9s. But I don't know, man. A week is a long time. That's I'm trying to do the math in my head. That's 27 borrows, right? Or 21, not 27. That's 21 Umas that you get to borrow. I don't know. The shifting of the inherits and also the RNG of how you may or may not get blocked can really change the story.
Yep. Just waiting for this one to start.
Okay.
Bear versus Krill? I still don't get it. I know you pointed it out. I don't
Krill.
know.
I'm thinking Krill like the shrimp. That's what I'm gonna go for. And if they pop in later and they're like, oh, it's actually Krollo, like the Hunter x Hunter character, I'll be like, my fault, my bad. But they can correct this once they get a sec. I'm sure they're locked in on how their Uma's gonna perform today.
Yep, just gotta tell them that we're good to start.
I just trained this rice 1 hour ago. Bro, Shino was telling me, he was like, man, it's particularly busy at work today. I'm glad I didn't try bouncing back and forth between commentary because, I'd be a little stressed out. I'm like, oh man, hopefully the work day gets a little easier for you. He's like, thanks, man, I appreciate it. I didn't realize he was training on the clock too. What the hell? Hello?
Oh, Trill. Okay, is it Trill?
Oh, Trill. Okay, not KR, but the CH. Okay, so Trill? Okay, yeah, okay, perfect. Thank you for letting us know.
Yep.
Oh. All right, so it's Bear, Shino, and Trill coming up in this next round 3.
Yeah, and any surprises as you look at the lineup, other than, of course, Shino's Rice Shower?
So I'm not surprised to see Shino with the nice nature debuffer. I'm assuming that's kind of the same role that we have for Trill's Grass Wonder as well. Major McQueen, you saw a little bit in that previous race as well. Oguri Cap, I mean, she's going to be a very common pick, I think, for this Champions Meeting in particular. There's a good amount of gold ship here, too. 2 gold ships coming in from Trill and Bear, so I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, gold chip's actually the source of a lot of complaints, I think, because she is probably the most intuitive Uma for this Champions Meeting. She also just performs really, really well to where people are cooking up the hard front runner strategy and all of that, but then you strategize, you plan, and then gold chip comes to ruin it all.
Exactly. It's evil. Wait, this guy got mad power, bro. 1125 on the power, still staying solid on the stamina as well, and you're chilling in the back. You have What is this? Oh, because Gold Chip also comes with like one of her gold recovery skills. I forget if that's potential 3 or 5. I think it's 5.
It's 5.
Hey. Oh, okay. So
I need 50 of them.
There.
I need 50 mats for that one.
That's so many banners, bro. Okay, but if you're a real Gold Chip lover, I think she's a very solid pick for this Champions meeting.
Yeah. Just answering a question about consolation bracket, which was made possible by. Give me a second. Oh no. Well, people were DMing me questions and I didn't see them because of the message requesting, but it's fine. I think they were all answered.
Oh, I see.
Because round one's resolved.
All right. Sounds good. Yeah, so we have a little consolation bracket. If you guys get knocked out, I believe it's in round 1 or round 2. There's a little losers bracket that you guys can kind of see in consolation_243. So you get a little bit more Uma action. I don't know if we're going to get a chance to stream it, but I am excited to see who's going to end up making it out. So Saya, Achi, Brickbat, of course, are running that all in the background. So make sure to send them a lot of love for, giving you guys one more chance to try and stay alive.
Yep, and we'll see if this Rice Shower can get it done here as we head into the race.
Let's do it. All right, so once again, Shino coming in with the Nice Nature, Tokai Teo, Rice Shower, Trill coming in with Major McQueen, Gold Chip, and Grass Wonder, and of course Bear pulling up with who I assume is the Ace Oguri, the Grass Wonder, and a Gold Chip as well.
Yep. And of course, once again, the Microsoft word art style, just brilliant, I think. It's so over the top. It's so good.
I can, even if I muted the stream, I can hear the fanfare in my brain and the ding, ding of it, just slapping the text onto the screen and hitting it with, the word art 180. It's so good.
Right. And of course, all eyes on the Gold Chip at the moment. Anchors away near the back at the final stretch. Gonna be a big threat, but of course, Anime Teo, not an Uma that I've seen in tourney too often.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of folks kind of talk about, oh, okay, this is such a cool design. I'm happy that we have it in the game. But in terms of, meta picks, I suppose we could call it, not a lot of folks being like, oh, I need to pull for her. She has a good inherit that I really need, or great, stat lineup or skill lineup. But Uma, as always, is one of these games where if you have enough time and dedication, you can build up the sparks for whatever your favorite characters are. So once again, Major and McQueen taking that early front-running position over here at the front. Closely followed by Rice Shower. We got Oguri Cap, Anime Teo in the back. And of course, in the rest of the back, in this late Surger end closer pack, it's Nice Nature, Gold Chip, Grass Wonder, Gold Chip, and one more Grass Wonder to bring it home.
Yep, and that Rice Shower is pretty far up, I gotta say. Way further up than I would expect. And of course, Blue Rose Closer, one of the most conditional ult skills in the game. We're gonna have to see if Shino's Rice Shower can meet the conditions for that one, but it's not going to be easy.
Yeah, we shall see, right? Kind of hanging out in that second or third place, so not a lot of other folks to try and pass by there, but pretty early on. Now we're letting some of these ults rock, just right before that final corner as well.
Advancing to the final corner now, and it's a massive clump here. Oguri boxed in for the moment. Measure McQueen so far ahead, but the question is, can she keep the lead here? Very, very far ahead, but this kind of lead vanishes in an instant as the home stretch comes through, and Gold Chip's already advancing. And McQueen, watch out! There's a Gold Chip!
Oh my god, I think of the video where it's one McQueen and then 15 Gold Chips. It's the same energy, right? You see Gold Chip immediately taking that second place. One of them just trying to break through, but a little bit blocked by the Nice Nature and Tokai Teo, but able to find your way through. The acceleration is up still. Running for your life here from Trill's, Major, and McQueen, just trying to make sure we can keep pace with a Gold Chip coming in on the side. Rice Shower fighting for third. The other Gold Chip is so far behind, but this Gold Chip is so far in front, able to take the lead and secure first place.
It doesn't matter. Your strategies, your preparations, it's Gold Chip time, as that will be the winner for this one here. Wow, just a Burr getting it done, and I questioned the stamina, right? But it was enough with the two great skills and, of course, the straightaway recovery. It might have done something, maybe not.
Yeah, having like that one extra white skill, I mean, of course it depends on whether it actually procs in practice, but I mean, we'll take it, right? Especially we saw one of those, gold skills happening right before that final straightaway. So it's like the perfect time for you to, activate and be, refreshed on the stamina. And you guys can see in the chat, Shino hit me up. He was like, J2, peep DMs. And I look over and it's just a screenshot of Tazuna giving him advice post-race. And she's like, your trainee didn't have the guts to keep up with her competition at the end. Thank you, Tazuna. I appreciate the insightful advice as always.
And Rice Shower's got that 20% guts, no? Think about it.
I think so. Oh my god, wait. She's like, okay, you didn't take advantage of your natural strength. You needed 1200 guts to survive in round 3. So true, Tazuna. So true.
Yep. We're going to pull another round 3 match here. This time, it's going to be another finalist from the previous Carat Clash. It's going to feature Yue, more commonly known as Fish, I believe. Yes. I can't tell. Yeah, but yeah, that does seem like the case.
All right, so last week, Carat Clash number 3, Fish or Yue did secure that second place with Simply Rudolph, Mihono Bourbon, and Goldship. So a couple relatively uncommon picks, at least ones that we haven't seen on stream just yet. But, the onslaught of the Goldships apparently will not stop. But like you said, let me go check over on this spreadsheet over here, which you guys can check out as well. It's publicly available if you guys want to see the standings. So like you said, it's Yue or Fish up against Riding May and Treddy 9761. So I'm assuming that's just their Discord identity.
Yep.
Wait, we don't have numerical Discord identifiers anymore. So maybe they were like, I just like it so much. Like I rock with the numbers. I'm going to keep it, right? It's going to separate me from the other 9,760 Treadies. I get you.
I'm pretty sure it got updated, but I think it's like a StarGG API thing.
So I see.
Yeah, it didn't like update, even though it was supposed to.
I gotcha. All right, so they're fighting it out for another spot here in round number 4. Of course, there's a lot of other folks fighting it out in round number 3. I don't know if any of them are streaming their POVs, but I'm seeing folks like Segu, JK Spice, and Starling. I'm seeing, who else we got? Icy, Kudan362, Panda.net. Who else? Max Things, Omnisite, Tofu Satire, Eternal, Kagura123123, which we saw earlier. They were the one who had like a different name on the spreadsheet. But yeah, Kagura123123 and Damados, Real Emo, Shaw Esther, Yellow May, and of course Chun, Sophion, and Melgi. And I think Seraph Uwu and Mio is my cat is the only round 3 that is waiting on one more person. So we'll see that in a little bit.
All right, but we're in a Fish lobby, and of course the stream should be able to see at least the round 3, 4, and 5s on screen now. You can see that Bear is the first advancer here. And
wait, that's crazy. So I saw the chat and I was like, oh, I wonder who Joel is. Like, hopefully, their friend does well. I don't know who Joel is, but I'm cheering them on too. And then I see the stream. I didn't realize it was a better TTV about that's just a rotating fish.
Yep.
Wait, this is kind of sick.
There's like 2 versions too, and one of them's like has like GIF compression and it is broken.
Wait, you guys gotta send the other version. I'm trying to see the cursed one.
Where's the broken Joel? Oh, wait. Karaoke. Oh, it's lowercase Joel. Okay, I see.
Oh, okay. Let me put them next to each other then. Oh, I see. I don't like that. I don't like that, man. That's so cooked. What the hell?
Right. Well,
so one would assume that we have a lot of Fish fans in chat. That's what I'm picking up.
Yeah. And also, apologies to everyone. I made this like 4 hours before the tournament started, and honestly, I think it's pretty good, the whole bracket thing. But there are a lot of buys in round 1.
That's how it goes.
Round 2 onwards, it's pretty nice, but round 1, yikes. Anyway, we're heading into the next race here, featuring Fish, maybe a fan favorite at this point, but also Treddy, who's actually an Omega Strikers player, and Myri, not too familiar with them, but if you made it to round 3, you're probably pretty good.
Yeah. Honestly, probably doing pretty solid. So it looks like Treddy is pulling up with the Rice Shower. We got Nice Nature on the debuff. Grass Wonder might also be like a secondary debuff. So we're putting all our stonks into Rice Shower right now. It looks like Myri, we have the Tokai Teo, the Vodka, and one other competitor down below in the Major McQueen. There, we got a lot of McQueen fans. I'm very happy about this. But Fish, we have the Gold Chip, we have the Simbly Rudolph, and of course the Nice Nature. So a good amount of debuffs are going to be popping in the middle of this race for sure.
Yeah, and actually some Saya and Treddy lore. 3 years ago, I was sitting in one of like the Mega Strix community discords, and I was like, "Yo, who do I know that knows about Umamusume? Because this is 2022, right?
Oh my god,
people don't, but Treddy did." And I was like, "Yo, look at these 12 Rice Shower plushies I just got." And then I proceeded to do nothing with those Rice Shower plushies until Carat Clash began, and Treddy's the first one who heard about it.
Wait, that's actually so sick. This is like insane lore. Like almost 1,000+ days in the making. I didn't realize there were so many Rice Shower plushes. I thought like for a second, I was like, should I ask Saya if like the Rice Shower plush is just like copy and pasted? Do they actually have that many Rice Shower plush? A little did I know, we're in the double digits as far as prizes go. So there are more Carat Clashes to come. But of course, there's also more round 3 action for you guys to come as well. A couple new picks, a couple debuffers that you're going to be seeing for the rest of these rounds, I'm sure. But let's see it.
Yeah, Vodka, not the usual, but... Oh, and only Bofa as the stamina skill. Oh, this Vodka is not going to have a good time against the debuffers here. We'll see if she can survive.
Yeah, that's scary, right? Usually we're thinking like at least 2 gold skills going into a lot of these kind of champion meet style setups, especially with the presence of so many debuffers. And Breath of Fresh Air kind of being that secondary one that you're like, okay, I hope this one pops, but I'm really trying to lean on Swinging Maestro or Gourmand, right? Or maybe the gold chip one as well, you know, the after school breath. But Bofa is a little inconsistent, a lot of folks would say. And having that as your only gold recovery, like you're living on a prayer, Vodka. I'll tell you that much.
Yep. It's not the greatest situation to be in. We'll see what happens here. And my eyes are firmly on the Vodka and the Tokai Teo. Of course, we see plenty of Grass Wonders. Today we're seeing plenty of McQueens, and of course, Gold Chip's a staple. But Vodka, have we seen Vodka in these tournaments before?
This is the first time I've seen Vodka like in a Carat Clash. That being said, like I didn't get to see last week's, but this is a relatively uncommon pick. So, you know, shout out to all the Vodka stands out there. I know it was Nem's birthday yesterday, so this is her belated birthday gift. Let's see if this Vodka is going to be able to stay alive. Falling a little bit towards the back of the pack to save a little bit of energy. We are already pretty low on that stamina, but of course, Major McQueen taking that front running position. Grass Wonder pretty far up right behind, and followed up by Rice Shower and Tokai Teo in the back.
Have to see how it goes here, but with a lot of the usual suspects in terms of skills proccing, that's going to be the HP being recovered quite a bit here. Debuffs are definitely the thing to watch out for, especially when we know that Umas like the Vodka are relatively low in the HP department here, and with where Vodka's positioned, I'm a little bit worried.
Yeah, who knows if we're going to have time. Now the debuff's starting to pop a little bit as well. A lot of those recovery skills popped pretty early as well, so really not a ton of stamina gained off of them as we make our way to the halfway point. Gourmand finally popping for our friend Rice Shower.
Yeah, still pushing forward here. Trying to find a little bit of a line, but of course, the evil and intimidating Gold Chip is approaching here. I would not be surprised if she was the main character of every single race we have today. That is how dominant Gold Chip is as just the accessible horse.
Yeah, especially with the gold popping up as far as the recovery skills. Nice Nature just trying to hold on and be in range for the debuffs as Major McQueen once again holding on to that first place spot as we make our way around that final corner.
Yeah. Now the final corner approaches. The Gold Chip so far forward here, and so many debuffs hitting the McQueens, hitting everybody. Look at those particle effects. Everyone is not having a good time, but right now it's the Gold Chip rushing forward here with a massive lead, heading into the final stretch. The final stretch is almost over, and she has such a massive lead. Tokai Teo trying to catch up, but it's not even close. Simbali Rudolph, I don't think it's enough here, as the Gold Chip will close it. Wait, Simbali Rudolph? Okay, no. It was a bait. It was a bait.
Dude, I got scared too because from our POV, she was passing like 3, 4 other races. You can see her. She's heartbroken, man. If she had just kicked in the ult maybe a little bit earlier, perhaps there was a chance to overcome the gold chip. But it's exactly like you said, Saya. It's looking like gold chip, especially Fish's gold chip in particular, is looking like the main character of Carat Clash 4 right now.
Yeah, and Fish will advance as the first seed. Not a lot of seeding being done, but, you know, a little bit. And I don't think many will be surprised at that one. And let's take a look at the stats. Oh, okay. This gold chip is not getting taken down by debuffs.
Yeah, that's a lot of stamina, I gotta say. And this is kind of the stamina that, 1k stamina is like a lot. But when you keep in mind, like, okay, not only am I going up against maybe one Nice Nature, maybe somebody else has a Grass Wonder in the back, maybe somebody else has like a Symboli Rudolph with like a Dominator in the back as well. Like, you're just trying to keep the stamina healthy, and you're like, okay, I'll tank some of these, speed debuffs. There's nothing I can do about that. But let me at least make sure that my final spurt is as good to go as possible. And still, very healthy on the speed, right? Maxed out, and that power is still above that 1k. Like, this is a good gold chip. This is good.
Yeah, quite good here. But it looks like we're gonna head right back to our BRB screen, not our BRB screen, our chat screen, as we need to prep our next race. There are plenty in this round 3. There's 9 entire races here, and all of them will be very competitive.
Yeah, exactly. So finishing up on some of the round 3 stuff, of course, UA/Fish making it into round number 4. So our top 9, Bear we saw as well. And you guys can see on the screen as well, flashing back and forth between the Carat Clash kind of conditions that we're rocking with here, which of course are matching up with Tourist Cup for the upcoming Champions meeting. You guys can also see pre-orders being available for the Starting Gate zine. So this is a big shout out to a lot of the artists in the UMA EN community, of course, that you guys see across the timeline day after day. So they have a zine that is not only having a new volume, but also opening up with re-releases and reprints of some of those previous scenes, since of course a lot of folks have gotten into UMA very recently with the launch of Global. So this is the first time they're reprinting some of these old volumes, and a lot of those proceeds, I believe all of those proceeds, are going to charities that do benefit racehorses, if I'm not mistaken. I need to double check that one on the side, but I know they are all going to charities. So if you guys want to have some beautiful zines from members of the Umamusume EN community, and trust me, I've seen some of the previews for these designs, they're real good. I'm putting in my pre-order right after this. You guys can stop on by. Any linkers on the zine stuff? Okay, it is. I might get shot for putting the link in chat, but it is startinggatezine.bigcartel.com. Startinggatezine.bigcartel.com. Oh, and we have the exclamation point for it. Saya's too sick with it, bros. Life is so good.
All right, it looks like our next room ID has been posted. We are ready to head into yet another gold chip battle, it seems.
Oh, God.
We'll see, though.
Yeah, gold chip is truly ending up one of the main contenders that we got going on here. And I mean, it's hard not to see her, right? Especially characters that depending on the potential level, end up having their own gold recovery skill. Just like gives you so much more room in your build, whether it's swapping out one of your support cards where you don't need quite as much stamina, or just in general filling up one of those very coveted gold recovery skills. Like you get a lot more room to work with.
Mm-hmm. We'll see how it goes in this one. Just gotta wait for them to start the lobby here. Ling, Segu, and Supika. Do I recognize anyone in this? No, I do not recognize anyone in this lobby. It's gonna be interesting. Let me try to trace them back towards their previous matchups. Oh, yeah. Okay. Segu took it over Frozy, who was a semi-finalist in the biggest Carat Clash with the same format.
Ooh, okay.
So Segu might be a player to watch out for.
I will say the very nice thing about this Google Sheet is that I can just Control F and I can immediately see everyone's path instead of having to go to a certain unnamed bracket site and clicking through like 3 or 4 windows to see, oh, who is their round 1, who is their round 2, then all of a sudden, risk it going down in the middle of the tournament. But doing a little follow through on these bracket paths as well. JK Spice, so had a pseudo buy in round number 1, only had to face Buy Me Lemons? Buy Me Lemons in round number 1, and then takes it over Zonseki and Jelly.mkv in round number 2. So let's check out Starling real quick and how they got here. So Starling ran up against Taycan in round number 1 and also took it over Swars and Tentarbrella in round number 2. So sending a few folks down into that consolation bracket and now fighting it out for all the marbles here in round number 3.
Yep. Round number 2 was a bloodbath. I think plenty of scary players fell in that one here. And we're ready to go for our next race. Just waiting on Starling to start the lobby. We're very, very close.
Sounds good. I will say it is very funny checking over. You guys, of course, I'm sure you're already in the Bestie and Slot Discord. I'm looking over at the Uma General channel, just seeing where everybody's at. And I just see one of the players going, "What does a buy mean? I'm so scared. What does it mean?" They're like, "Dog, it just means that you have one less person to play or 2 less people to play, right? Like you just get to advance on to the next round." They're like, "Oh, thank God." So it is, it is very funny seeing the, people learn new things every day. I'm learning new things on the mic as well. As like, sometimes I'll see some skills or I'll see some, Uma loadouts that I haven't gotten to see with my own eyes before. And then folks will chime in chat and just be like, "Oh yeah, this is like a very strong pick. Like not a lot of people happen to have this Uma and you have to train them in this particular way with these inherits. But otherwise they're really good." So I'm glad I get to see this ahead of time before Sunday rolls around, and I'm like, "Ooh, yay! Let me go boot up with my, very average team in Champions Beating Taurus Cup." And then I'm like, "Why am I getting owned by random Umamusume number 999?"
Yeah, but I think as round 3 keeps on going, the progression towards scarier and scarier Umas is only going to continue. And I think we're seeing some Grass Wonder aces coming out as well. This one, not the greatest in terms of stamina and doesn't have that S in medium either for that extra speed, but does have the excels necessary to be a competitor here.
Yeah, exactly. You have Marzen inherit, you have Ryan inherit. So as far as late surging, speed and acceleration, you're doing pretty okay. But like you said, especially going into round number 3, I feel like S's in medium are almost a necessity at this point. So it's going to be hard to try and catch up.
And taking a look down at the bottom of the list, though, as you can tell, the gold chips are still here, 2 out of 3 possible. And Tokai Teo anime version makes a return as well. Not what I expected.
Damn, okay. So she's back. This is a lot of, Champions Meeting specific greens. So we got Tokyo Race Course, Spring Runners, Firm Conditions. The really nice thing about some of these green skills as well, we're capped out on speed, and these green skills allow you to go past that cap as well. I think it's 40 for the first level and then 60 for the second. So it's a nice little boost past, what others might have as their top speed, which is really cool.
Yep. And taking a look at the rest of the lineup, the Grass Wonders, of course, one of them a debuffer and one of them attempting to win it all. Quite a few debuffs on this one. As it's funny how this one has the S in medium.
Oh, no, that's actually a heartbreaker. I bet if they went back into the lobby, they would just be like, "Yo, can we just swap our aptitudes real quick? You don't need that S. You got all these debuffs going on. We'll just take it," right? They're like, "Hell no, I'm keeping my medium and S. I'm good. You should have raised your Uma better." But heading on into this next one, so Starling is going to be pulling up with the Agnes Tachyon, the Nice Nature, of course. And of course, we're going to be seeing quite a bit of gold ship as we head into this next match.
Yep. Things have finally settled down, and I'm definitely doing myself no favors with how I'm changing things up every Carat Clash. The previous one was the biggest one ever, and then StartGG unfortunately had a malfunction in the middle of Evo, which might have affected it.
Oh yeah, Start.gg went down for a little bit. I remember I was on commentary and I was like, "Oh, let me go check out how the brackets are," and they just weren't loading. And I was like, "Oh, that's annoying that this is happening during Evo." And I forgot that it was also the same day as Carat Clash number 3. Man, I was like, "No."
Yeah, and bad things happened. 3 people got lost when I made a new event on the fly and all that to try and transfer it over. And after that, I'm like, well, might as well create my own custom 1v1v1 single elimination with losers progressions. And it didn't work out too well, but it worked enough, I think.
There we go. take matters into your own hands. And Grass Wonder taking the race into our own hands immediately, just heading into this front runner position. Again, we've been seeing a lot of these Grass Wonders taking uncharacteristically upfront positions pretty early on.
Oh. Well, we'll have to see how it goes. You're going to have to take over because apparently something broke.
I got you. Yeah, figure out the constellation as we figure out our next contender into this round number 4. Once again, that top 9 qualifier. As Grass Wonder takes the lead, followed closely behind by Anime Tokai Teo and the original Tokai Teo and her Shobufuku. Of course, we got the Battle of the Grey Coats going on in the middle here with Oguri Cap Gold Chip starting to move up here as we head across this, halfway mark. And the back of the pack has... I was going to say has started splitting up, but it's condensed even further, right? It's a lot of these debuffers in the back with the Nice Natures, the Grass Wonders, of course, the evil and intimidating Gold Chips just waiting in the back as well.
Yep.
Yeah, Lucky 7 Gold Chip chilling out.
Okay. And Lucky 7, of course, when it procs is huge, but the Gold Chips, both of them benefiting quite a bit from the current clump up of the pack. They're in a really good spot here.
It's going to be terrifying seeing them break out. Once again, that gold recovery skill coming out from the go-home specialist as we head into this final corner. The debuff starting to pop once again. And man, this pack is so much more condensed than when we saw earlier on. The front runner, Tokai Teo, falling towards once again this gold chip as we head around the final corner.
Yep. A lot of debuffs coming through, but it feels like it's a little late. So far ahead are one of the gold chips here, number 4. That's going to be Starling's gold chip, but the Teos are keeping pace a little bit, but not quite getting past the gold chip here. Starling still in the lead. The gold chip continuing to rush forward here. The velocity ups going to help, but not be enough, it looks like, as Starling maintains a comfortable lead all the way to the end.
Ooh. Yeah, that is terrifying, right? You're only a few lengths back, maybe 2 or 3, but a good acceleration can really, turn the tides in the final battle. But that last straightaway, like you're saying, right? We were just holding that, that advantage all the way to the bank. So Starling is going to be our next qualifier over here into the round 4 top 9.
Yeah, and that's going to be Supika in second and Segu in third. Which speaks to how deep this is, right? Because Segu was the one who I was like, oh, we need to watch out for this player who took out the finalist of the previous one, but they weren't even the winner of this one.
Yeah, it's a bloodbath, like all the way from round 1 and 2, but especially as we kind of condense down into round number 3, like these stat lines are looking insane. The skills are loaded out in a way that makes me think, man, you had to have spent a good amount of time just setting up all of these white sparks to make sure that every single skill point went the distance.
Yeah. All right, heading into the next one, it's going to be Icy versus Kudan versus Panda.net. That's going to be an interesting one. I do not recognize any of them.
Yeah, I haven't gotten to see them. I'm assuming the, what's it called? As we head on into things. So you guys can see on the spreadsheet as well, there's the little number next to their name, which I'm assuming is their seed. So a bunch of these gamers kind of seated towards the middle of the pack. Of course, like we've said before, like seeding in Umamusume bracket when you don't really get to see everybody's Umas ahead of time and look at every single one of their stats and their skill loadouts is pretty hard, right? We're kind of just estimating based on their previous results, but getting to see like all 3 of these gamers making it into round number 3 when we haven't really seen too much of them before means, I don't know, the champions meeting training has definitely come up big for them.
Yeah, we'll see how this one goes here. As the lobby code is sent, and we should be getting into this one before too long. I am seeing a Haru Urara. Okay, not in the race itself. Okay, it's just a profile icon, but we are seeing an Uma that we have not seen so far, so I'm interested. Any guesses?
Yeah, I was gonna say one that we haven't seen so far. We haven't seen Karen-chan. So that's my guess. I really want to say Smart Falcon, but the fact that you also have to train up her turf aptitude makes me think that this late on, if we haven't seen her, we haven't seen her.
Well, we did see Karen-chan previously.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
But it is another new horse. So another new Uma has joined the field, and therefore they're only
Narita
like
Taishin?
It is Narita Taishin.
Oh my god. All right, first Naruto Taishin that we're seeing. I know a lot of you folks are excited for the Gamer Horse, not to be confused with the Ayano Muteki. A Gamer Horse kind of in her own right in the SSR support card hanging out at the arcade for quite some time. But we got the Rhythm Gamer pulling up here for round number 3. Who's rocking the Naruto Taishin?
It's Elsie. I thought it was Icy, but it was an L. It was a lowercase L all along.
Oh, I see. Okay. Or sorry, Elsie. I see Elsie pulling up with the Naruto Taishin. Okay.
We'll see how it goes here. Constellation has been fixed, I believe. And everything is finally going as normal. It had to do with manual entry or something.
Yeah.
Well, it happens.
Much appreciated for you guys and your patience as well. Of course, the spreadsheet here, there's quite a few formulas. You know, it's transparent. You guys can't edit it, but you can click into any cell and you can just see like, oh, I wonder how we see the progression of, you know, who ends up in round number 3 or round number 4, and then you click into the cell and you're like, oh, that is it's quite a few nested statements that we got going on here. A little Google Sheets magic, which is also what is running some of the stream overlay stuff that you're seeing as well, with the names and the icons that are giving you a kind of heads up display on who's running which Umamusume. So again, big shout out to Saya for making sure that we have all that info readily available for you guys. On the off chance a certain bracket site ends up going down, we can take things into our own hand. But we're going to be taking you once again into another round 3, that top 9 qualifier. So looking at it, Kudan pulling up with the Oguri cap. They have the gold ship as well. Let's see, LC has an Naruto Taishin, like we mentioned. So the first one that we're seeing, a very new Umamusume. Has a special week as well. Let's go. That's my goat. Wait, all right, sorry. I can't be unbiased anymore. LC is my goat already. And with the nice nature debuff just waiting in the back as well. I think that's the 3-star version too. So we got the Racing Silks unlocked. Oh yeah, like, oh my god, that's quite a few debuffs. We had extra skill points to put into ramp up and groundwork and tail. We were like, you know, we've ran out of debuffs. She'll do enough. Maybe she'll even catch up. But of course, Panda pulling up with a nice nature of their own as well.
These stats are a little crazy, right? Only 1 recovery, but over 1,000 stamina. Got that S in medium. Got the firm conditions left-handed standard distance combo, but no excels. So that is a little bit unfortunate. We'll see if this special week can keep up and just be unkillable, maybe.
Yeah, that's a scary thing, especially when you don't have the inherits from, you know, Marzensky, from Major Orion, from Taiki Shuttle. When you don't have the acceleration, you're like, oh, okay, I can stay alive. I have the stamina. I have the gold recovery skills to, you know, keep up pace. But, you know, just because your spurt activates at the optimal time doesn't mean you can catch up to some of the folks that are running with Redshift. They're running with Let's Pump Some Iron. And all of a sudden you're like, wait, why am I getting outpaced? My Uma should still be alive. So we shall see.
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll see how it goes here. Let's head into the race itself, and it's going to be very interesting with the unknown variables, the Umas that we have not seen being in the mix.
Yeah. First time Naruto Taishin, first time special week we're seeing as well, so let's see. At least for Carat Clash number 4. I think we've seen a few special weeks in previous Carat Clashes, but first time we're seeing her tonight.
Let's see, and once again, on the Japanese Derby track, Tokyo Turf 2400, and it's kind of funny. I think someone pointed this out to me right when the first Carat Clash happened, but the first Carat Clash was pretty much the same track as the Champions meeting by just complete coincidence.
Yeah, I remember when we got the Taurus Cup announcement, and I was like, wait, these conditions seem quite familiar. Interesting. So nice little coincidence going on there as we head into our next top 9 qualifier.
Yep. A triple late start for whoever we're spectating. That is quite unfortunate. Good. Yeah, and I believe that is number 4. I believe that's Panda being hit with a triple late start, but still recovering is the Oguri cap, and honestly, sometimes being in second is better if you're one of the 2 Oguri caps.
Yeah, exactly. Looking to overtake with the unique as well. So Kudan, Panda chilling up there in the front runner position, and just about everybody else is just waiting in the back. You see a sea of nice nature. You see a little gold chip action. Of course, the Naruto Taishin and Special Week kind of biding their time up until later on.
Yep. He's continuing to run forward to Special Week. the Uma that you have your eyes on, and I have really good news concerning a box of 12 other plushies that I have.
Interesting. Okay. We got quite a few plushie Umas in the back here, and we got quite a few Umas condensed in the back once again. Yeah, we're just trading places and spaces with the special week, the Narita Taishin, just surrounded by all these debuffers, but it's looking like kind of a rough spot for that Narita Taishin. A little blocked in front, so let's see if she's going to be able to, find a way out on the outside.
Yeah, it's really blocked, and I think people were discussing Narita Taishin in one of the discords, and I think the issue is that her ult skill isn't super compatible with this particular track. So that is definitely an obstacle that you have to face here. The Nice Natures, of course, doing their work as the Ogre Cap that's all the way in the front. I'm getting a little worried about the end game here.
Yeah, exactly. We're so far ahead. I wonder if we still have the stamina to keep on going on as some of these, white acceleration skills are going up, and a lot of these debuffs are starting to hit as well. The pack condensing towards the front. Special Week makes her move, but Goldchip coming in from the outside, trying to overtake this first place Ogre, but she's holding the lead as far as Kudan goes. But Goldchip, still the acceleration's getting close, but that lead isn't getting any closer. Triumphant Pulse once again coming up to maybe try and widen this gap.
Yeah, trying to catch up here, but it looks like it's too little too late as yet another dream is crushed by Goldchip. Number 6, that's Kudan, moving on to round 4.
Oh, you can see the ears just flop down. It was such a strong start, holding on strong, but, that triple late start really does a number on you.
Yeah, and Kudan's Goldchip, LC in second here. Double XL, plenty of stamina to go around. Not surprised for this one.
There we go. And we were having a little bit of we were fretting a little bit looking at the special week build too, thinking, oh man, there's no win con here, right? We have a lot of good velocity skills, and we have a very healthy pile of stamina to keep up our final spurt in that last straightaway. But it did end up in quite the close second place, so I'm very happy to see a strong performance, even though it doesn't end up qualifying you into that top 9. It's a very strong showing in our top 27.
All right, and you're gonna see a familiar face in our next one, I believe. After unfortunately not going too far in our previous tournaments, Omniscythe has made it to round 3.
There we go. Fighting game enthusiast himself pulling up here for this top 27 up against Max Things and Tofu Satire, a couple gamers who I haven't gotten to see with my own 2 eyes. So I saw him, I knew that he was staying alive without checking the spreadsheet because I saw him still typing in Uma General, and I was like, wait, this could actually be consolation. And then I looked over at the qualifiers for round number 3, and I was like, nah, he's still got it. He's still got it.
Not going to be easy, though. The opponents are Tofu Satire and Max Things, and again, plenty of interesting strategies to see in this one. Quite the variety in this race compared to the previous one. So once we take a look at the list, it's going to be pretty good, I think.
Oh, okay. I'm excited to see it. Let's see. This is going to be our 5th qualifier for that top 9. So we still got a few more spots to fill out as we head into those semi-final qualifiers. But let's see it. So starting it off, Tofu Satire pulls up with the Grass Wonder. A couple off-screen Umas as well. So Omniscythe is going to be pulling up with the Mayano Top Gun. We saw one of those early on into the round 1s. Has the Ogre Cap as well. And a Nice Nature, of course, going to be holding on to that debuff. Maxa. So that's Tokai Teo, Nice Nature, and Narita Taishin. Of course, those last 2, horses coming in from Tofu Satire are the Ogre Cap and the Goldchip. So two horses we've been seeing quite a lot of in this Carat Clash.
Yeah, Mayano Top Gun has been a very interesting pick, I gotta say, for a lot of strategies. The end closer paired with a Haru Urara was something that we saw last week. Unfortunately, did not make an appearance this time. And everyone else, I'm just a little interested in that Narita Taishin, number 1 favorite by the game, and I gotta say, Tazuna cannot be trusted.
That's what I'm saying, man. I'm a little suspect. So I haven't seen Sleeping Lion, but this is decreased fatigue mid-race for end closers. So it actually should be a pretty solid stamina. At least it's not going to pop super early like the potential for some of these other, for example, straightaway recoveries, which could pop quite a bit earlier than you might like and not end up giving you the stamina that you need. So it should be pretty good on the stamina end. So let's see if we have another strong performance from Narita Taishin.
Yep, just inputting the last few into the overlay. Other than the Narita Taishin, any other Umas that you have your eyes on?
I'm looking at the Mayano Top Gun, mostly because we haven't gotten to see her since that round number 1. But again, the end closer, it's always scary the further and further back you end up putting your Uma, right? We think about the meme, if you're blocked, you're blocked. There's no power that's going to save you. I even think about, I think it was Carat Clash number 2, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe 1 or 2, where Sawara, right, was tearing it up with the Simply Rudolph that was rocking that late Surger kind of position. Then all of a sudden in that final race, just ended up getting crucially blocked and, kind of ended up in that 5th place for that last finish. So it's hard to say. Let's see if the heart of the trainer is going to be enough to avoid being blocked as we head into another top 9 qualifier.
Yep. After all of these conclude, we'll be heading into the final 3 races in round 4, then the final one, the grand finals in round 5. But right here, plenty of variety in this one. Can Omniscythe get it done yet again, or will it be the gold chips? Just being only 1 gold chip, right? So that's a little different.
Okay, at least there's only 1 evil and intimidating horse in the back here, right? We still do have a couple debuffers in the Nice Natures from Max and Omniscythe. Of course, Tofu Satire. I'm sure it's a sea of red in the skill list for that Grass Wonder as well, so no one is particularly safe on stamina and speed.
Yep. Bit of a late start, but plenty of green skills being procced here. Of course, the Uma's Champions Meeting and all being very tailored for this exact track.
A little rushed on the Grass Wonder, but again, that's not the worst thing in the world. That's not your ace. You just want to make sure that your debuffer is in position to apply it to as many Uma as possible. So, Tokai Teo taking the lead, closely followed by a couple of these Ogre caps from Tofu Satire, from Omniscythe. And then, of course, in the back of the pack is just about everyone else. The gold ships. The Mayano Top Gun as well, taking that last spot in the, end closer position, just waiting for everybody else to make her move. But she has a lot of Umas to get past if she's going to try and avoid being blocked.
Yeah, really awkward spot for the man in Top Gun, and of course relatively low in the HP department as well, so has to be careful here. Tokai Teo taking the very front position is pretty uncharacteristic, though. I wonder what exactly is going to happen as they bunch up.
Yeah, I feel like we usually kind of see her in that pace chaser spot, but entirely possible. I didn't get to see the strategies. Maybe she's running pace, but everybody else just happens to be late surger or end, so they're just waiting in the back anyway, and everyone kind of gets shifted up forward. But speaking of shifting forward, as we get past this halfway mark with the gold chip ultimate, trying to make a move on the outside and also proccing the go home specialist, which means you have all the stamina in the world for that last straight.
Yep. Lots of stamina here. The debuffs are coming in, but that Tokai Teo so far ahead, that gap can be closed in an instant, though, as we have seen before. The Ogre caps in perfect position to Triumphant Pulse all over this race. And I think that Tokai Teo is not long for this world with the gold chips and the Ogre caps advancing here, getting really, really close now. Triumphant Pulse about to activate. Gold chip, even without any fancy shenanigans, just continuing to push forward. The Ogre caps, though, in such a good spot. There's the Triumphant Pulse coming out. That could be enough to get it right past the gold chip, but the gold chip still looking pretty fast. The Tokai Teo in position, the gold chip advancing. It's going to be gold chip yet again, despite the Triumphant Pulse.
Nothing ever changes. The story was written before we even stepped out onto the turf. We saw the evil and intimidating gold chip once again coming in from the outside. It was a beautiful proc of the skill, and of course that ultimate had us terrified. We were seeing the tail end of Tokai Teo's tail, just trying to accelerate past, but you gotta look out for that gold chip. So Tofu Satire in first and second place as well is going to be moving on to that top 9, leaving Maxa in the dust.
Yeah, and it was a gold chip versus Ogre cap, same player, the same trainer for both of those. So in the end, it wasn't as close as it seemed, but gold chip out here just getting it done too efficiently.
She is actually the dream killer. I'm not gonna lie. Every single time we're like, oh, these front runners are pulling ahead. It's 2, 3, 4 lengths. Like we're big chilling. We see a pace chaser kick into their acceleration. And all of a sudden, Gold Ship from downtown just ends up curving from the outside and taking victory home once again. So that's gonna be Tofu moving on to top 9, ending the runs of Omniscythe and Max Things as well. But hey, making it into the top 27 again, 200 plus competitors for today. Like that's the top 10%. It's still a very good performance.
Yep. And next up is going to be Eternal, Kagura, Ugu, who we saw previously, and Dematos. This is an interesting one. Can you trace the paths of these players and see if they have any big wins?
Yeah, let's see. So starting off with Eternal, so round number 1. They had like kind of a bye. They ended up only going up against SC 4596. Moving on to round 2 against Leo IIDX and Paige Strangelove. So ended up knocking them into the consolation bracket on the way over to round number 3. And let's see, Kagura we definitely saw in round 1. Or no, it might have been round 2. We didn't stream any round 1. So Kagura made it into round 2 over Bello 0038. And then we saw their stream match against Meltup and Tiburoa. But Dematos, we definitely haven't seen on stream. So round number 1, that was up against Kadeen. And round number 2, it was up against Fado95 and Amordia. So we got a couple excited gamers again trying to stake their claim into that top 9 amongst the ranks of UA against Starling, Kudan, Tofu Satire, and Bear.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, this is the first time this has happened. The lobby started right before we were able to join. So, unfortunately, we're facing a bit of a remake here. But
Yeah.
I guess things have finally slowed down and gotten under control here. Any surprises so far, or any big non-surprises?
Any big non-surprises? I mean, of course, a lot of us are looking at that top 3 or that top 8 from the previous Carat Clash, which, to refresh some of your guys' memory, so Carat Clash number 3, which had some of the same conditions, to match the Taurus Cup Champions meeting, was, who did we have? We had, pulling it up on my screen over here, so we had Kana, Fish/UA, and Franhua/Juan Vivo. So UA is still staying alive in that top 9. Juan Vivo, we saw, kind of in an upset, knocked out a little bit earlier than a lot of us might have expected into that consolation bracket. I don't believe we've had a chance to see Lilybun or Ring or Kaisner. I see Leo 2DX, 780 Zoo, and Frozy, who I also think we haven't had a chance to see, as well. So quite the bloodbath going on here in Carat Clash number 4.
Yep, definitely pretty interesting here. We should be ready very soon to get into the next lobby, as everyone is joining up, and we're seeing a lot more of the same. But also, the special week making an appearance as well. That's going to be interesting.
She's so back. All right, another special week representative. It was close the last time we saw her, right? Ended up making it into that second place, very healthy on the stamina, but maybe one acceleration inherit might have made the difference there. But we'll see if it's going to be a different story for our next special week as we head into our next match.
Yeah, just waiting for one more player to join here. But once they do, this should be quite an interesting one. You mentioned that Eternal made it through past Leo 2DX, and Leo was a semi-finalist in our previous Carat Clash, so definitely a player to watch out for. And of course, now being taken out, Eternal, therefore, being that player to watch out.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't put 2 and 2 together. I was like, why does Leo 2DX sound so familiar? I feel like I've said such a similar tag before, but I didn't put the 2 I's and the 2 together. But now the 2 and 2 are together, we have another round 3 qualifier as we wait for some gamers to head on into the stand. But knowing that there's a special week, like, you guys already know where my heart is at. I'm cheering on all these competitors, but I'm cheering on the special week just a little bit more.
Just waiting for this final player to enter. This is an interesting one, though, especially because, of course, Ugu, we saw previously winning with that gold chip. And the other player in the lobby right now, Eternal, choosing not to bring any gold chip. So that's going to be interesting. Will the streak be broken?
I don't know. We've seen so many dreams crushed by the evil and intimidating horse. Like even in the chat, you guys are like, "Gold ship wins again." Like, what's going on, man? It's actually the year of the gold ship, or I guess we're coming up in the end of Gold Chi week, right? So maybe that's why she has a little bit of extra love there. I was looking through some of those Gold Chi week missions, and I was like, wow, there are a lot of missions in here. You know, the Simply Rudolph ones, the Air Groove ones. You know, it's really only like 4 or 5 of them that are actually like, oh, run this specific race, and a lot of the others ended up being, okay, just run like a certain amount of careers, right, or get a certain number of fans. And looking through some of these gold chip celebration weeks, they're insane, right? Like one of them is, okay, get like 5 million fans or 5.6 million fans on gold chip. I was like, oh yeah, 5.6 million, like you'll just get that now. Go on gold chip, what the hell? And then what else was it? It was like run 564 races to get like 10k, you know, support card points. I was like, oh my god, that's a lot of runs. I gotta tell you, that's a lot of stamina refills.
Yep. All right, we're finally getting into it here. There are 2 gold chips. Dematos, Manso in game has decided to bring one as well. So
okay,
the likelihood of gold chip prevailing quite high, but with Eternal, the one who took down Leo 2DX, being that gold chip list player, I think anything is possible.
Okay, let's see it. Let's see if we're gonna be able to put a stop to the reign of the gold chip, right? We've been seeing so many times where she just barely comes out of that end closer position. Honestly, not even just barely, right? Like coming around that halfway mark, we see the evil and intimidating ult proc, and we're like, oh no, it's that time of day again. She starts swinging around the mace, and we're just like, guys, it might be another gold chip angle, but got a bunch of competitors to try and hold on. It's only a 2 out of 9 chance that she wins, bros. It's only a 50-50. She either wins or loses.
Oh, wait, this is the first time I'm seeing this. We're stuck on a now preparing the race thing for like a while now. Usually it's like 2 seconds.
Okay. Yeah, right? Maybe a strange little connection issue going on here, but all good. Worst case, we remake. Thanks again for your guys' patience as well, by the way. We're coming up towards the back half of our games. Of course, we have a few more qualifiers into the top 9. So we still have to see Real Emo, Shaw Esther, and Yellow May. Still have to see Chun versus Sophion and Melgi21. And we still have to see Little Witch Bea, Seraph Uwu, and Mio is my cat. So that'll be going on to try and fill out the back half of our top 9 qualifiers.
Okay. It was only a small hiccup. It looks like we are ready to go now. And we will be finally seeing the Umas that are being featured here.
All right, let's see it. So Eternal, like you mentioned, we see that special week at the bottom of the screen, but of course also has Symboli Rudolph and Ogre Cap. So this feels like kind of a 3-ace team, right? You know, all in kind of different positions. So we have the pace, the late, and you know, and one more pace as well. But we do have some debuffers, right? So Manso pulling up with a gold ship, the Nice Nature, and Tokai Teo. Of course, Ugu, we saw earlier, another gold ship pulling up here. And of course, a couple other Umas towards the bottom of the screen as well. So pretty good variety. Of course, we've seen the Nice Natures, and we see some more Ogre Cap. I was hoping we would see a couple different Umas at the bottom. I take it back on the variety. We see Tokai Teo. We see Special Week, right? But otherwise, you know, it's mostly looking like a same old for this round 3.
Yeah, some of the stamina values do concern me a little bit, but we'll see if the debuffers are enough to really take those Umas down.
Yeah. Right, another top 9 qualifier once again. Back to old reliable on the Tokyo Yushun.
Every time I see it.
Animation now. I just think of Microsoft Word art ever since you said it.
You know, making the school project PowerPoints.
It's so good, yeah. Oh, you find out the, or you see the anime button for the first time, you're like, wait, it's time for me to cook.
Did you ever make like try to make like a story-based game or whatever, like Choose Your Own Adventure with PowerPoint?
Actually, yes. I tried to do it at one point. I'll tell you guys a little bit more about it as we, you know, finish up this race. But, all right, even it took a pretty solid here. The pack taking a long time to condense, but looks like Ogre Cap, and Tokai Teo and Special Week kind of taken to the front here. And, of course, in the back is a lot of our debuffers and Sibylle Rudolph as well.
Yeah, front runners, few and far between, I believe, in this tournament. Previously, we saw some Silent Suzuka success, but not so far in this one, and that's kind of bad for the Ogre Caps, right? They want someone who's reliably in front of them so they can proc the Triumphant Pulse. That not really happening means that we're seeing some inconsistency really show up.
Yeah, it's scary to put yourself in that late surger position because you're like, oh, what happens if I get blocked? But especially when, like you're saying, right, there aren't a ton of front runners that we happen to be seeing. You're risking yourself depending on your initial speed, how you end up starting out of the gate. That positioning could be so rough for when you actually get your ultimate started.
Yep, trying to move forward here. It's getting a little bit close as the gold chips, of course, start their approach. The Nice Natures doing their best, but with the gold chips slightly behind them, I think one of them actually dodging a lot of debuffs here.
Yeah, one of them coming in the outside. The other gold chip kind of stuck right behind, so an unfortunate blocking situation, but there's still one gold chip to have to worry about. Gorman procking around this final corner as well. Ogre Cap still holding on to this, front play speed, but as we head into the final spurt, let's see if it's going to be an easy time trying to keep that lead up.
It's definitely not going to be easy with the Symbolic Ruff, with the gold chip, with the special week all coming around the corner, especially the gold chip on the very outside, just slowly approaching the Ogre Cap, who just cannot Triumphant Pulse here. The conditions not met. The Tokai Teo and the special week as well, but not quite enough speed, not enough acceleration to get it done. The gold chip as well, pretty far away. Can the Ogre Cap hold on? It's going to be really close, and I think Ogre Cap held on, just barely.
That's the OG star of Japan. Wait, why are we set? Are we looking at the other? We're looking at the other Ogre Cap. Okay, so 8th in first place, just barely by a neck. So it is the reign of the Ogre Cap. The first time in a long time that we've seen the gold chip not steal away that first place, but the difference just being so small. So, you know what? I take it all back. The Ogre Cap and the gold chip were owned by the same person anyway. It didn't even matter. We were just fighting for first and second place for the pride of it, for the storyline. But Ugu is going to be moving on to that next round. Kagura 1-2-3, 1-2-3 with the Ogre Cap.
Are you seeing this? This Ogre Cap. How did it happen? Only one Excel, right? And the stamina looking incredibly low. Bit of a miracle that this was the Ogre Cap that came out on top.
Yeah, this stamina is like right on the edge, I think, of what you might want to bring into Champions Meeting. Yes, you have the 2 gold recoveries, but you're really banking on them not only proccing, but proccing at the right time, right? You know, if the Swinging Maestro ends up popping just a little bit earlier than you might like, you're like, I don't know if I'm going to survive until that final spurt, especially with the debuffs like you mentioned, but maybe just happening to be so far ahead that we ended up dodging a good amount of them. So life is good.
Yep. We're just going to go into the next one now, and as you can tell from the sheet bracket, we are cleaning up the round 3s. Only 3 remain, and the next one's going to be Real Emo versus Shaw Esther versus Yellow May. And Real Emo actually is Bosher, who told me that they registered and StarGG was linked to their old Discord account for some reason.
I remember someone saying something about that. They were like, yeah, my start.gg is like linked to my Discord alt, and I'm not sure how to change it, but I'm already registered. So, you know, a little back and forth there, but all is well. We know where you're at. So our next match, like you mentioned, is going to be Real Emo versus Shaw Esther versus Yellow May.
Right, just telling them that we're ready, and it should be a very, very short wait compared to previously here. And again, it is... right now, top 27. If you win, you're in top 9. If you lose, you are eliminated at tied for 10th. It's a big one.
Yeah. Really trying to make it into that top 9 spot to, you know, make your way into that semifinals. But of course, it only gets more and more difficult. I see you guys talking in the chat as well. Umamusume is a luck game. But, you know, specifically for the Japan Derby, I mean, it just makes sense, right? This is where the luckiest horse girl ends up shining. But looking a little bit here at the team comps, Empress Esther pulling up with the Nice Nature on the debuff, Simbly Rudolph, and I think another horse down below. It looks like Boris pulling up with the Mihono Bourbon, Nice Nature, and the Tokai Teo. That third coming in. Oh, okay, so I'm seeing at the bottom here 2 gold chips from Yellow May and Empress Esther. So the evil and intimidating horses are once again up to the stand. But of course, coming up and taking the middle, Yellow May also has the Ogre Cap and the Grass Wonder. So it's looking like Ogre Ace a couple debuffers just waiting in the back and seeing if our Triumphant Pulse can pull us forward. We are healthy on the stamina for sure.
Yeah, very, very healthy. And, of course, has the double excel as well. This Ogre Cap's a contender. My eyes are on the Mihono Bourbon, though, an Uma that we have not seen today just yet. And this is pretty interesting. We'll see if this Mihono Bourbon can get it done.
Yeah, we have the double golds. Track Blazer is, okay, decreased fatigue when in the lead mid-race. So that's pretty consistent, right? It's not going to proc super early where you haven't really spent any stamina. Like you said, we have the Marzen Inherit for a little bit of acceleration as well. Groundwork too. So we got a lot going for us on the Mihono Bourbon.
Yeah, and that Groundwork's going to proc, right? As Shino's mentioning right now in the chat. Got the 2 greens, got the focus. This is a front runner, which we have not seen too often in recent times. Yeah. It's going to be scary, and as Boaster says in chat, Flood by Boris is saying this horse is there to enable the Teo. Will it happen? We'll see. But that does mean that Teo's Sky High Teo step is a lot easier to proc.
All right, heading into it, another top 9 qualifier once again. Focus does have a wit check, so a little bit risky. Okay. My Ogre didn't proc Redshift, but I don't know if it would have made a difference. I mean, It was quite a big lead in that previous set, so.
Yeah, and of course all eyes are always on the gold chips in a tournament like this. Empress Esther in particular, I believe top 3'd one of the tournaments that we had, either the first or the second. And of course represented gold chip on that winner's graphic. So there's the focus. There is the groundwork proccing for the Mihono Bourbon, and a pretty good start here for Boaster.
Yeah, a million green skills just popping off all at once, and as we split up into our respective positions, of course, Mihono Bourbon taking that pretty rare frontrunner spot here, allowing Ogre Cap and Tokai Teo to follow directly behind. Everybody else, the debuffers just waiting in tow alongside the rest of the gold chips, biding their time.
Yep. Just the Mihono Bourbon so far ahead. The debuff starting to hit, but this is a lobby full of very healthy Umas, right? They are not going to be phased by only a few debuffs. Now, the entire kit of debuffs, maybe a little bit.
Yeah, let's see. 1 or 2 debuffs here and there, you'll be okay. And we were looking pretty solid in the stamina from what we saw, but trust me, with loadouts that have 8, 9, 10 debuffs, you gotta pray you're gonna stay alive. Hopefully that barrier is going to be enough to keep that final spurt healthy as we pass our halfway mark.
Looking to try and keep the lead, but the Mihono Bourbon, I think, not the full ace of Boaster, and it's kind of showing here because it's just being caught up to the Ogre Cap already passing at this point. Wow, this is an awkward spot for the Mihono Bourbon.
Yeah, losing that front runner position, just chilling out in the second place, finally heading into this last corner.
Yep, just trying to stave off a little bit. On the bright side, disabling the Ogre Cap's Triumphant Pulse, right? So that is a slight positive here to Tokai Teo. As mentioned, looking for the Sky High Teo step. Will we see the cutscene on the Tokai Teo is the question here, but in a bit of an awkward spot as Mihono Bourbon tries to catch up the gold chips as well. The debuffs pouring on, and I think that the gold chips are the ones in control of the pace here. Still pushing forward. The Ogre Cap ahead for the moment, but look at that gold chip on the middle, just running so quickly, and it's not even close. It's going to be a gold chip victory.
Yeah, so close right until that last 50, 100 meters, and all of a sudden it was a 2-length lead pulling up here. Okay, 1.5, a little closer. You know, quite the close battle there for second and third place, but unfortunately the Tokai Teo not quite as enabled by the Mihono Bourbon as you might have liked with that Sky High Teo step.
Yeah, still a very respectable placement for these players, but Yellow May going to be the one dominating in the final stretch here, and gold chip causing some emotions.
Said cheater ass horse. I'm crying, bro. So we had a slight break in that previous match from the gold chip dominance, but it looks like we are all the way back to Gold Shi Week once again as Yellow May, like you said, moving on to top 9. So we have a couple more qualifiers for those last 2 spots in our semifinals. So up next, we're going to be seeing Chun versus Sophion versus Melgi21.
Yeah, and just gotta get the lobby now. Chun, Sophion, and MLG21. Can you take a look at a bit of their bracket history? Because I only recognize Sophion and only barely.
Let's see. So Chun in the round number 1 ended up running into Ellie Lone, and then in round number 2 was up against Forever and Apple and Ayameru. So we head on over to the rest of our gamers. Sophion, who did you run into? This was a round number 1 against Michael CS17. I feel like I've seen that name before. I'm forgetting off the top of my head. Versus Poplar and Nonpon. So that's how they ended up in round number 3. And Melg21, who did you face in round number 1? So round number 1 was up against Koyu1. And round number 2 was up against Tota Keke and Marcel PXD. Okay.
I feel like I recognize some of those names, but it's like that deja vu kind of recognize, you know? You're like,
I know it feels familiar, but I can't place my finger on why.
Yeah, but take a look at the consolation finals, which is actually gonna be right after the conclusion of round 3. That bracket has just sped through all the way to the finish, and the 3 competitors in that one are gonna be Leo9, Koyu1, and Ellie, and I definitely recognize Koyu1, so. That's going to be that's the consolation finals might be just as competitive as the main bracket finals if this keeps up.
That's what I'm saying. Because consolation finals, I'm trying to think. So everyone that got knocked out in round 1 and round 2, right? So that's everyone who didn't make it into top 27. That's quite a lot of folks. That's a lot of gamers. I'm not going to do the math on broadcast right now, but you guys should know. Making it into the top 3 of consolation bracket is its own killer's, shark infested waters.
Yeah, and it's everyone who just got a little bit unlucky, really. So,
yeah,
just as competitive as ever. Unfortunately, the Right Shower plushie budget does not allow another one to be handed to the consolation winner, but still, the bragging rights, still a big bracket, still 5 entire rounds that you have to win. So it's pretty big.
Yeah, exactly. There's no shortage of competition down in the consolation bracket, but there is also no shortage of gold ships and nice natures as we head into this top 9 qualifier. So a couple nice natures coming out from Tipo and Sophion, a couple gold ships, or actually a gold ship from everyone here from Chun, Sophion, and Tipo here. But the first Taiki shuttle, or I don't know if it's the first. I don't remember if we've seen a Taiki shuttle, but definitely a rarer pick. We're seeing her a lot in the inherits, but not so much as the actual Uma. So 1k on the stamina is pretty healthy, but also only 1 gold recovery skill. So that's kind of where your buffer lies.
Yeah. This is a pretty interesting Taiki shuttle. We do not see Taiki shuttles very often. I'm also interested in this Tokai Teo, who has not had success so far. Maybe this one will be able to make the difference. But that stamina is looking a little bit scary. Does have all the skills necessary to get it done here, right? But still could be a debuff liability, perhaps. But I guess we'll head right into it.
Let's see. We've had some close upsets. It's hard to call anything an upset in particular when Gold Chip is just waiting around the corner to be like, oh, it's time for me to get first place once again. But, we've seen some very close fights for second and for third as well. So can't count anyone out just yet.
Yep. Everything loading up here as we get into this one. And Tokai Teo, right, in theory, shouldn't be bad at all on this track. And of course, there are a lot of Tokai Teo believers, but I don't think we've seen Tokai Teo succeed at all, whether it be last Carat Clash or this Carat Clash. Can Chun change everything about Tokai Teo in our tournaments, or will it be more of the same here?
Yeah, we've seen her well represented, but as far as making it particularly far, I mean, you made it to round 3, but making it into that top 9 again is a whole different story. A couple late starts as we head into this.
Couple late starts. Taiki shuttle as well. Very, very unusual for this kind of track here. Of course, does have that built-in Excel, but other than that, I think there are plenty of other familiar faces. Agnes Tachyon and Gold Chip, of course, the 2 staples, probably. And Agnes Tachyon, we haven't really seen a Tachyon ace get it done so far, but maybe this will be the one where the debuffs come on heavy and that additional unique healing skill helps out.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we have a little bit of natural recovery in her kit, so helps keep her alive against the onslaught of debuffers that we see. But again, these couple nice natures and the 3 gold chips, not just 2, it's 3, just waiting in the back here as we make our way halfway through. Of course, Tokai Teo taking that, Pace Chaser ends up being that front runner kind of spot. And of course, right in the middle of the pack, it's Agnes Tachyons with that Taiki Shuttle.
There's the gold chip right on time. The anchors away a constant as all 3 of them get ready to just close out the rest of this race here. Currently in the middle of the pack, but not for long as Taiki Shuttle just watches as the gold chip army just runs right past her.
Yeah, I was going to say the gold chip's in kind of an awkward position, potentially being blocked, but we're seeing the navigation, right? All of them just taking to the outside, but, one of them a little bit further ahead than one of the others, I say, as that second gold chip just takes to the outside. They're all fighting to overtake this Tokai Teo as we head into our final corner on the last straightaway. The last 2 Agnes Tachyons still getting debuffed, but it's okay because those gold chips, once again, coming in for the outside, overtaking the Tokai Teo, but the length difference is so close, anyone could still accelerate and take that first place. Agnes fighting for Agnes Tachyon fighting for 3rd place. The 2 gold chips trying to fight to see who's gonna make it first. I can barely tell, but the acceleration is just barely not enough to overtake. But let's see whose gold chip ended up in first.
It was so incredibly close, but there was a clear difference of a head. It wasn't by a neck. Yep. It was definitely by a head here, and it will be number 5. So I believe Chun, the one taking it over Tipo.
All right. Yeah, in just barely a, close neck and neck, or sorry, a head to head rather, with the gold chips towards the end there. Chun is going to be moving on to top 9, knocking out Sophion, and Mel G21 with a very respectable top 10 finish.
Yep. Now we're going to move right as soon as possible to the final match of round 3. It will be a Little Witch Bea, Seraphuu, and Mio is my cat.
Let's take a quick little look at the paths as well here. So Little Witch Bea ran up against Invictus Mars in round number 1, and then in round number 2, also kind of had a bit of a bye. Ended up getting a DQ there and won against Lily Bun. So Seraphuu, who are your opponents? Let's see. So in round number 1, ended up getting a full bye, right? So didn't have to play out that round number 1, the nefarious bye, as some folks have called it in the UMA general chat. But in round number 2, that was up against Kaiser Inkai and Leo 9. And we're going to check out our 3rd competitor here. Mio is my cat. I know I mentioned them a little bit earlier because I think their name is pretty funny. But they were up against Scorps for round number 1. And in round number 2, that was Vanillana and Swift Z. Okay. So those are the paths that these gamers have made their way into in this final top 9 qualifier. So I'm excited to see. We've been getting trickles of some UMA variety here and there, filling in the gaps between the nice natures, the gold chips, the grass wonders. We had a good amount of Agnes Tachyon representation in that previous one as well, but unfortunately not able to stick around and stay alive for that top 9.
Yep. Final race of round 3 coming up here to determine who makes it into the final bit of the tournament. This is going to be an interesting one here as we're seeing quite the unique usernames, I gotta say. It's going to be very difficult for me to match the usernames in Umamusume with the Discord names and everything, because take a look.
All right, you guys lost me. Like, I'm sure Little Witch Bea is Beatrice. Like, that one goes pretty easy. But Easy Collapse, I'm not particularly sure. And JP Migrant, I also, can't match off the top of my head. So, Seraph and Mio, I'm going to need you guys to do a little bit of matching in UMA General so that we know. But as far as Little Witch Bea, looks like we're pulling up with Mayano Top Gun, Major Orion. We haven't seen as the actual trainee UMA or the actual racer. We've seen much of her inherits, but not the actual racer, so I'm excited to see if she can stay alive as well. Of course, that nice nature debuffer, Naruto Taishin. So, again, a rare pick is pulling up once again here for Easy Collapse alongside the nice nature. But we're seeing even more debuffers, even more gold chips, and even more Ogre caps as we head on down.
Yeah, just filling out all of the UMAs here. Naruto Taishin, right? Like I mentioned earlier, Not the most compatible in terms of ult skill, but still has the qualities necessary to definitely do solidly. And we see a lot of people succeeding with their favorites, and Umamusume is definitely a game where if you invest enough time and if you get a little bit lucky against the gold chips, you can definitely win with whatever Uma you want.
Yeah, exactly. If you have enough time, if you, get some good luck on your sparks as well, whether it's inheritances on your great-grandparents or grandparents, or, of course, that trainee Uma that you're trying to, bring over here to Champions Meeting, to Carat Clash. Give it enough time and luck, you can make anything work.
Yep. Some very scary stat lines coming up. To make it into top 9, only one of these trainers will be able to do it here and join the monsters that are in that round 4. But we'll just have to see how it goes here, because depending on whether you get blocked, depending on the debuffs, depending on so many different factors, things can go any which way.
Bay in the chat saying, I'm gonna get smoked. I mean, you're the only one that's not going incognito as far as usernames in Uma, so you're wearing your pride on your sleeve right now. And I mean, there's always that hidden stat of a trainer's love for their horses. So I think that gives you a little bit of extra points, surely, maybe, copium, opium. But let's see if it's gonna be enough to get that last top 9 qualifying spot.
Yeah. Everyone just ready to get on the start here. Lots of green skills again, extremely tailored, and especially the standard distance and the Tokyo racecourse, right? Giving that additional stamina so important to staying alive versus the nice natures. And in the previous Carat Clash, actually, we saw nice natures, we saw grass wonders all throughout the tournament, but when it came to the grand finals, we surprisingly saw only 1 or maybe even 0. So there's some food for thought. Maybe the triple A strategy, or 2 aces and like a horse that sets the pace. Maybe that's the real way.
Interesting. Maybe a little bit too focused on the debuffers that the aces end up suffering. And we've seen some discussion of setting up one horse with another particular activation conditions end up being a factor as well. So we'll see if that ends up mattering here. But Ogre, of course, taking very early to the frontier. Mino Top Gun in that 2nd place. Major Orion taking up in 3rd, right up against Naruto Taishin. And in the back, Ogre just waiting out with the rest of the debuffers and the nice natures and that gold chip.
Speaking of the gold chip, there's the anchors away, speeding up quite a bit, just rushing through the entire pack here. And of course, the nice natures trying their best, but it's not going to be enough to stop the inevitable, it feels like. Good position for the man of Top Gun, and maybe she can get a little bit further here, but right now the Uma in the lead is that Ogre Cap, and we're seeing a lot of the Ogre Cap being far in front. If Easy Collapse's Ogre Cap can just stay that far ahead, there's a non-zero chance that even without the Triumphant Pulse, it's going to be fine, but taking a look at the top heads-up display, watch out.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of these debuffs finally rear their ugly head as we make our way into the final straight. Naruto Taishin up in front. Ogre just falling so far behind in the pack, but of course, the gold chip still coming in for the outside, trying to overtake the Naruto Taishin, but she's still staying alive. The Triumphant Pulse, the ultimate coming out from Ogre Cap in this last straight. I don't know if we have enough distance to try and overtake, even with the acceleration. So, of course, gold chip is going to overtake the Naruto Taishin to secure our final top 9 qualifying spot. And the gold chip, of course, belonging to the one, the only, I'm looking over, it's not JP Migrant, it's Seraph Uwu.
No, wait, JP Migrant is Seraph Uwu, right?
Yes, I think so, because I had to do the process of elimination in my brain. I'm like, wait, because Easy Collapse is Mio is my cat, so that's not Mio is my cat. But Mio is my cat making it into a close 2nd place with the Naruto Taishin, so representing very well on a relatively uncommon Uma that we've only gotten to see a little bit of tonight. But of course, the year of the gold chip still reigns strong, or maybe the week of the gold chip. We'll see how actual Champions Meeting ends up shaping up. But that is going to be the end of the run here for Little Witch Bea and Mia, for Little Witch Bea and Mio is my cat.
Yep. All right. And that means that our round 4 is all decided. Only 9 players remain in the main bracket, and also only 3 remain in the consolation. But before that, we're going to take a very, very short break here. And once we're back, we'll have that top cut action for you. So don't go anywhere, and see you in a minute or 2.
What's good, gamers? Welcome back. Of course, we have our top 9 ready for you guys in Carat Clash number 4 with some more Uma action. But before we go into that, of course, you guys saw that a new little addition that we got going on here for Carat Clash and for this beautiful spreadsheet that we got going on here, courtesy of Saya, is the consolation bracket. So anybody who happened to lose in round 1 or round 2 actually got a little bit more opportunity to play some more Umamusume PvP action and fight it out for that consolation bracket prize, which does mean everybody who got knocked out in top 243 and top 81 is now fighting it out in a separate bracket. So everyone who didn't make it in the top 27, which is quite the majority of the bracket, I might add, means that consolation bracket ended up kind of being its own, separate shark-infested waters. Like, this is also, its own movie. So a lot of folks making it, all the way as far as they could, all the way from round 1 in the consolation down to our final 3. So up next, we're going to be seeing the grand finals of the consolation bracket, which is Leo 9, Koyu 1, and Ale 4764.
It's going to be an interesting one. Of course, the usual gold chips are here, but my eyes are on Koyu, who's brought Mihono Top Gun and Mihono Bourbon. We're stuck on now preparing the race again, so we'll have to wait a bit to see the race itself. I wonder why. It didn't happen in the previous 3 Carat Clashes.
Yeah, it's curious. I know we also had the one patch where connecting would just take us like 5 to 10 seconds, and then at one point, like, at some, like, it was like midnight Eastern Standard Time where it just broke. Like, you were not able to connect to the game, and then they tweeted out, and then all of a sudden everything was fixed. I don't know. Maybe it happens to be one of those situations as well, especially as a lot of folks are, running practice room matches and seeing, okay, is my team gonna be ready for champions meeting? But of course, there's a lot of behind the scenes that's going on in it. You guys can kind of see, this is kind of the scenes now, right? Because you guys can see that spreadsheet. You guys can check it out in the Discord as well. Just as a little heads up, if anybody is interested in helping run Carat Clash as well, I'm sure they would always love the volunteer help. There's a lot that goes into running and making sure that like 200-ish competitors are able to organize themselves into room matches and end up knowing where to go next, especially, when start.gg can be a little finicky as far as functionality sometimes. So if you guys ever want to help out, I'm sure you guys can stop on by the Bestie and Slot Discord and offer to help some of those volunteer services as well. But speaking of those volunteers, shout out to Brickbat, shout out to, oh my God, who am I forgetting?
Hachi.
There was another... Hachi? Yes, shout out to Hachi as well for holding it down on the TO side, and Saya setting up the spreadsheet to make sure that you guys could have all that Umamusume PvP action as well.
What's happening? Last time we were stuck on now preparing the race for a while, but this time we're just stuck. Something's going on here. I'm tabbing back and forth, opening and closing. Okay. And we are still preparing for some reason here. You know what? It doesn't even matter if I leak the room code at this point. I was gonna show everyone, like, we're stuck on this screen.
Help! We can't get out, bros.
We're so stuck that I'm gonna do my free summon, my free scout.
Okay, yeah, let's see it. Watch this, Smart Falcon.
Watch the Smart Falcon.
I've never seen. Yeah.
Right now. Okay, it's definitely not gonna be Smart Falcon. Yeah. No.
Okay, right. Agnes Sakyan, we saw a couple of her this evening.
I'll take the 5
If it was a gold ship, I was like gonna go crazy. I was gonna be like, no, that's so cursed.
All right, so we're gonna go back here, right?
All right, surely this is the one.
Okay, so
now preparing the race. Maybe a new lobby. Maybe. I'm not sure. I feel like we already tried to remake, so.
What if we remake? Oh, wait! As soon as I threatened the lobby with a remake, we're fine.
Mashallah, life is good. All right, we're getting back into it. Once again, thanks everyone for your patience. We're heading into our grand finals of the consolation bracket, which once again is Leo 9, Koyu, and Ale. So it looks like Koyu is pulling up with the Mihono Top Gun, the Mihono Bourbon, like you mentioned, and the Grass Wonder taking that debuff slot. So for Ale, Looks like we got Ogre Cap, Nice Nature, and a gold chip. Oh, okay. So this could also be another year of the gold chip, because it looks like Leo 9 also has one down in the bottom. But followed up with the Symboli Rudolph and the Nice Nature.
Yep, speedrunning to try and get all of these written down in time. But it's very interesting that Koyu1 has not chosen to bring a gold chip. It's a Mihono Bourbon Mana Top Gun double front runner strategy. That is not the usual.
Yeah, at least they can kind of both fight it out in the front. And I don't think the unique skill activation ends up overlapping. But, just seeing so many of folks leading into these late surgers and end closers, specifically with the gold chip, I mean, it's gonna be scary trying to think, oh, okay, is my stamina gonna hold on? Is my acceleration gonna be able to hold on that final spurt?
Look at these skills, though. You got the groundwork, you got the playtime's over, you got all of the conditionals to trigger it, right? The left-handed standard distance front runner savvy, not even depending on wit to trigger that groundwork. Wow.
That's a lot of skills, dog. That's like, we almost had to scroll down the page to see all the skills.
Here's the Excel, here's a good chunk of stamina, and not really much recovery, but what we can tell is that all of these Umas are serious competitors. Check the Mihono title. Oh, the hot spring on this run? Holy moly.
That's actually the God run. Holy.
Yep. But we're going to head right into it. Will Koyu1 be able to overcome the gold chip trend, or will it be once again the gold chips getting it done? That's the question in this consolation grand finals.
You already know everyone in the main Carat Clash bracket is like watching along with bated breaths. They're like, I need to see that gold chip can fall, right? This sets the tone for not only the top 9, but the top 3 that we're going to be seeing later. And I don't know, man. It's been hard. I feel like gold chip has just been doing such strong performances throughout some of these qualifiers. It's going to be very difficult, especially with a team of double front runners, to try and hold on to that first place spot.
Yeah, definitely not the usual team that we see, but definitely well researched. So the gold chips on the outside edge, looking menacing in the 8 and 9 slots. That's actually scary. Just being on the outside from the beginning. Whoa.
Yeah, right? Don't even have to worry about blocking or any of that lateral movement, just taking all the way to the outside. But Mihono Top Gun and Mihono Bourbon, as expected, taking that front running spot, and a single lonely Ogre Cab just waiting in the middle, waiting to proc that triumphant pulse later on into the race.
Yep, the front runners doing what they do right now, so far ahead, especially the Mihono Top Gun, just setting the pace. And when the front runners are this fast, I think I'm pretty sure it causes more HP drain in the entire race, right?
I believe so. If I'm not mistaken, I've read through the doc a couple times, so it's hard to keep all of the miscellaneous info, kept in mind. But just being able to dictate the pace is so scary with both of those front runners, as Ogre Cap trying to, slowly inch up and be like, okay, I don't want to cover so much ground once that final straightaway happens.
Yeah, all these stamina skills going to be so important. The Moxie's proccing, everyone trying to keep up the pace, and there's the gold chip slowly approaching now as the anchors away have procced. And it's all up to these front runners. Can they keep the lead, or will the Umas running behind them catch up here as we head close to the final corner? All the recoveries coming in, and Symboli Rudolph pushing forward, trying to get those past targets to proc the Emperor's Divine Might, but there's a Mana Top Gun, and maybe a little bit more as well here.
Yeah, there we go. Popping the ult to try and keep and hold on to that front runner position once again. Up in first place here with Mihono Bourbon, but Symboli Rudolph right on the tail, coming up from the outside, but Bourbon's still got an ult of her own. This Gundam still has some wings to fly with, but we saw just barely in that cut. It's the gold chips coming in from behind, but trying to make one entrance from the inside, one entrance from the outside. The blocking might be a little bit difficult to try and escape, but of course, Ogre Cap coming in from behind. Symboli Rudolph threatening to overtake Mihono Bourbon coming in for the outside. It's going to be a tough battle to try and overcome, but Symboli Rudolph with a 5-6 length lead clearly takes the grand finals here for the Consolation Cup.
We were too worried about the gold chips. We were too focused on the front runners. In the end, it was Symboli Rudolph getting it done for Leo 9. And like you said, multiple lengths. The Emperor just so far ahead.
That's my goat, man. I love Simboli Rudolph, man. She's so sick, man. I'm not gonna lie, I said 5 to 6 lengths and then looked at the scoreboard and realized it was 2. It's occurring to me that I might not actually know like how long a horse is, but I will say it was quite the gap established in that last like 50 meters. The acceleration really kicked in for Simboli Rudolph. So congratulations to Leo9 for being the winner of our Consolation Cup.
Yeah, it was very, very competitive, especially for those who had unlucky matchups early on. I'm gonna take a look real quick. Actually, did they take each other out or something? Because Ale, nope. OU. Well, we can talk about that later. But yeah, well done.
Hell yeah. Congratulations to the winner of our Consolation Cup. Of course, Koyu and Ale making it into that top 3. Like, yes, this is the Consolation Cup. It's the, redemption bracket function kind of deal, if you guys are familiar with that in other games. But still, this is the vast majority of the bracket. Everyone who didn't make it into that top 27. So it's still incredible competition throughout the, other 90% of the bracket that we, maybe saw fall a little bit earlier on in that round 1 and round 2.
Yep. And now we're headed to back to the main bracket here. Top 9 is beginning. Top cut, well and truly. It's going to be Yue, a Fish, Starling, and Kudan. All players we've seen before.
Yeah, I mean, they killed it to make it into this top 9 as well. Of course, Yue is kind of one of the gamers that we have our eyes on, right? A stellar performance in Carat Clash 3. So we're going to see if they can, take this back to let me just double check. So they didn't take a first place finish in the previous Carat Clash, but it was a close second. So let's see if they're going to be able to not only make it into top 3, but see if they can change the story a little bit and secure that first place finish this time around.
Yeah, and winning here is the first step, right? You want to at least tie your previous performance. You want to show that even though there's a lot of luck elements in Umamusume, the cream of the crop, the best trainers, are consistent through it all, right?
Exactly. It's so easy to be like, oh, Umamusume is a wit game. Umamusume is a luck game, which, of course, there are elements of that throughout. But setting yourself up with the best chances, putting in the most dedication to set up your sparks, just because, oh, they didn't roll the 3-star stamina or the 3-star power that I wanted. Oh, they didn't get the 2 or 3-star turf or the medium that I was looking for. Sometimes being able to look at some of these runs and be like, oh, okay, these still have some pretty solid white sparks. Let me see if I can save this Uma for later. Maybe train up a grandparent with this one so I can pass this down to a parent Umamusume. Now, all of a sudden, I have, even better skill point efficiency, or I have some of these skills which maybe are locked to certain support cards, which don't fit into my deck, but have really good, skills that might be the difference between the acceleration that wins us the race versus the one that loses us the race by a head or a neck. So we'll see.
Yep. Now preparing our match between Fish, Starling, and Kudan here. Ready to race. We're heading right into it, and it's going to be a very, very scary top 9 that we're looking at here.
Oh, yeah. All right, so once again, this is a qualifier for top 3. The gold chips are out and ready once again. Of course, the Ogre Cap. So it's 3 gold chips. Everyone here has a gold chip representative. Everyone here has a nice nature representative. So really the only differences are these third slots. So I'm seeing an Ogre Cap, I'm seeing an Agnes Tachyon, and a Simboli Rudolph coming out from Fish as well. So we shall see.
Yeah, Agnes Tachyon has been quietly just a very, very high presence in this tournament so far. Not surprising, right? With all of that recovery, and of course, Ogre Cap did win once so far, but I just can't believe.
Yeah, we'll see, right? Because so many times Ogre Cap is either in that pace chaser position, kind of pushed forward into that front runner, because a lot of folks, outside of some of the Mihono Bourbons and Mayano Top Guns that we've seen, really aren't leaning into that front runner strategy, right? A lot of folks are waiting for Seiyun Sky to, get that inherit, but she's not out just yet. But let's see if the stat lines are going to be enough to, once again, stand the onslaught of the debuffs coming out from these nice natures.
Yep, gonna head right into it here. Only 4 more races remain in this tournament, and this is one of them here. The Jules coming out from the chat. They know who they're rooting for. And the question is, will the seed 1 of this tournament be able to make it all the way? Actually, I color-coded the seeds by like projected round placement, with red being round 5, orange being round 4, etc. And
okay.
Yeah, so only Yue and Burr, Fish and Burr have matched to their seed so far.
Yeah, otherwise these were gamers that were projected to, either fall down in round number 1 or, kind of eke out towards round 2 and 3. So can't count anyone out.
Yeah, it's mostly just because we don't know everyone. There's so many people who enter and so little history that we're just like tossing like the top 20 that we recognize the name of, and that's it. But heading to the race itself, the Nice Natures coming out in full force, right? Triple debuffer, everyone getting hit by 2 Nice Natures. And that's kind of a lot of the variability in some of these races, right? Sometimes not everyone brings a debuffer, sometimes everyone does, and that's where your training comes into effect. Like if you sacrifice some stamina for additional speed, additional power, or vice versa.
Yeah, exactly. Are we trying to high roll on the team comps of the opponents that we end up running into? But it is quite the split pack going on here. So we have a single Ogre Cap just chilling up there in the front from Kudan, and otherwise it's the debuffers and the gold ships just hanging out in the back here. One of the most condensed packs that we've seen all night. Yeah,
one of the biggest leads from the pseudo frontrunner here. Not in the front runner position, but forced to assume it is the Ogre Cap, and that gap is not what usually occurs. Usually it's a lot closer, but the Nice Nature is just content to sit back, relax, and I think everyone's starting to catch up here. The anchors away is going to mark the start of the gold chip surging forward.
There we go. All 3 of them hitting the ult as that halfway mark is passed here, but still has to make their way not only past each other, but past the Nice Natures and the Agnes Tachyons. Simply Rudolph trying to find her way out of this big pack, but I don't know if there's going to be a particular path open to cut in through the middle when Nice Nature is right in front of you.
Yeah, and one thing does hold true, right? Umamusume, in the end, is a stamina game. If you run out of stamina, if you're dead, you're dead. And this Ogre Cap is getting blown up by so many debuffs right now. That might come into play if the Ogre Cap suddenly slows down at the end. It's the gold chip rushing forward here with good pace. It's keeping up the pace against the Ogre Cap, who is still holding on just barely. Gotta watch out for the Symbolic Rudolph as well. But it's looking good for this Triumphant Pulse gold chip, stealing the weapon of Ogre Cap and using it to take the lead here, using it to win the race.
Nah, that's actually messed up, dog. I saw the skill pop up. I was like, oh, she didn't pop her ult yet? No, she popped the ult of the horse that was currently in that first place, stole her technique to steal that first place finish. So Starling is going to be moving on to top 3 over Kudan.
Yeah, wow. What a gold chip. It's a gold chip again, but just the timing, just the Triumphant Pulse being used against the Ogre Cap. Wow, that was so not what I expected at all.
That is a way of all time to finish out. You're like, all right, my Ogre is staying alive. Like, she's been chilling in this front runner spot, really dictating the pace of the entire race. Surely the rest of the stamina from these gamers is running out. They're fighting just to, have enough stamina for that final spurt. But when the Triumphant Pulse hit, I was like, no, there's no way this is how we lose, man. It's so close. Even Kudan in the chat saying, dang, it's so close. But making it into the top 9, again, with such a stacked Carat Clash number 4. A stellar performance, but unfortunately, that is the end of your run as we found our first competitor for that top 3.
Yeah, and Kudan, gotta be pretty proud, right? You're technically tied for 4th here out of hundreds of people. That's definitely an impressive placement to have. Especially when, of course, the main bracket is single elimination. One unlucky matchup, one unlucky game moment itself, and you're out. But next up, we're moving on to Tofu Satire, Kagura 123, and Yellow May. It's Ugu, Tofu Satire, and Yellow May in the game.
Okay. Now, I feel like I remember one of these gamers at least having a Mayano Top Gun, if I remember correctly. But, even the rest of the chat is like, please, anyone but Gold Ship, man. Anyone but her. It can be Ogre, it can be, it can be anybody else. But I don't know, man. The week of the Gold Ship is still going on strong. It's going to take a lot to try and overcome.
Yep, and if you have any suggestions, don't be afraid to drop them in help desk or something, because We moved it from Sunday to Friday, and the time's also pretty flexible in the end. But heading on to the next race here, it's round 4, it's top 9, and of course everyone's looking pretty scary here.
Yep, so it looks like we're seeing the classics. So a gold chip coming in from everyone here, but Tofu Satire in particular is pulling up with the Ogre Cap. It's a Grass Wonder on debuff, and gold chip bringing up the rear. Ugu once again with a nice nature, and then in the rear we have the gold chip and Ogre Cap. Nothing too surprising here. As far as Yellow May, it's gold chip. It's Ogre Cap. Okay, we have a lot of overlap going on here. And the Grass Wonder. I think we see 4 unique Umas here. But, I mean, it goes to show you there are some kits that are definitely very well designed for this particular champion meeting.
Yep. Gold chips all in the line. The Ogre Caps there as well. The only difference is in the debuffers. So it's basically just the same roster 3 times, like you said.
Yes.
Yellow May, though, favored by the game. That's going to be that gold chip. I'm just going to tap through all the gold chips here. Oh, this one.
Yeah.
This one I'm surprised made it this far, right? Relatively low stamina.
Yeah.
And, of course, the third one, Tofu Satire. Oh, that's quite the stat line as well. All right, JC, we're heading in, though.
Another
second
top 3
9.
qualifier.
Yep. Wait, oh, did we lag?
I heard myself rejoin Discord, but either way, we're back. I think we both ended up bringing in the gamers here for this second top 3 qualifier, but we are so back.
Yep, and it looks like we got a lot of club mates in the chat, right? I think they were mentioning it for Koyu, but now Tofu Satire as well. A lot of online friends coming together in the final moments of this tournament. This is just a mirror match 3 ways, and it's going to come down to the nuances of training, really. Oh, did we disconnect again?
No, I think we're good.
Okay,
I was
we're good.
fingers crossed. I was bated breath waiting for the late starts, but it looks like everybody is off to a pretty solid start here. One early debuff, but I mean, this early into the race, it's really not the worst thing in the world here. As the Ogre Caps take an early position, of course, Ugu, and end up taking quite the front runner position here. The other 2 Ogres just waiting in the wings right above that late Searcher pack.
And of course, the Ogre so far forward. That's what happens when one is forced into that front runner type of mode here. It's so hard to tell what's going to happen from this early to mid race, right? Everything's just starting to get going. I guess the one thing that can be focused on is who the debuffs are hitting. And that would be the gold chips right in front and maybe one of the Ogre Caps.
Yeah, exactly. Eating these early velocity downs, but honestly, that's not the worst thing in the world here. You're fine with those proccing pretty early on before, you know, the final spurt. Obviously still vying for position, but you're already assuming that you're going to be in the back of the pack, so it really just ends up determining some of the position and where you end up getting blocked. But once again, it's that halfway marker as soon as we see all of those anchors away from the gold chips.
And the Ogre Cap's not so far away anymore here as the gold chips start approaching. Plenty of stamina to work with as well, with the gold skills, with the potential 5. It's like 450 monies, but, you know, with the Golden Week event, the Gold Chip Week event, that is spare change almost.
All right, coming around the final bend here, once again, just holding on strong with this front runner Ogre coming in from Ugu, but there we go. They've actually just ended up like running alongside each other. It's a line of Ogres, it's a line of gold chips coming in from the outside, but Ogre in the back trying to make an outside push of her own, but it's still just so far ahead. That's 5-6 lengths to try and make up this final end of the race here with the triumphant pulse, but still those gold chips are terrifying from the outside.
And speaking of the gold chip, speak of the devil, it looked like that gold chip ran out of stamina at the very end, right? Ran out of HP, but it was still enough, maybe?
I don't know. I saw her taking quite the leisurely stroll, but crossed the finish line alongside number 5. So, all right, gold chip supremacy once again, just barely by a nose. Ugu stopped here in 4th place by Yellow May's gold chip. Same can be said of Tofu Satire, ending the run here just barely outside of that top 3.
It was so close. I think they ran out of HP. But I think they both ran out of HP at the very end.
Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's what happened.
Not enough left me think. Thank you, Tazuna. Much appreciated.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah. That's what I would assume, because we saw them definitely slow down towards the end there when I was like, wait, shouldn't we have enough stamina to finish out the rest of the race? But an unlucky debuff here or there, especially in that final straightaway, can end up making all the difference.
Yep. And we're heading right to the final lobby of round 3 here. And, wow, once again, it is getting really close. I expect to see a lot more of the same, perhaps, as we head into the next one.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, how many gold chips do you guys think is gonna be in this next one? But the fact that we've seen, 2 to 3 for the past, like, 5 sets, I have a feeling I know where your guys' brains are at. But we've been seeing a good amount of, Ogre Cap. We've been seeing a lot of the Nice Nature / Grass Wonder as well. So I'm trying to remember. Of course, there's a lot of gamers that we've gotten to see tonight. So I'm wondering if we have some of these more unique picks that have made it into the top 9 as we head into our next match with Chun, Seraph Uwu, and Bear.Uwu.
Wow. Same Uwu on both of them, but I think they will be also having a pretty similar strategy, I gotta say.
Okay.
Because the gold chips are showing up once again, and
Yes.
not too surprised at that.
The gold chips are plentiful, but chat is right. We do have a Tokai Teo here. We also have an Agnes Tachyon, but we're seeing some standards on the debuffing here. Grass Wonder coming in from Bear, Nice Nature coming in as well from Seraph Uwu, and of course the gold chips and Ogre Cap to round out our 9th and 8th Umas here. So more of the same, but I'm sure a lot of you guys are going to be focused on some of those more particular picks. Maybe some fans of the Tokai Teo, maybe some fans of Chun's Agnes Tachyon as well. So let's see if they can hold on.
Yeah, let's take a look at the Tokai Teo in particular before we get into things. It is a pace chaser, and that is quite the stat line. Does have the accelerations, right? Does have the double HP recovery, but I guess one particular concern is triple debuffs might do a little bit of damage, but overall, still a contender.
Yeah, right on the edge there. I mean, we've seen as low as maybe like 690 or like 700 stamina is where it gets really scary. The low 800s, you have a decent chance. You leave yourself open to a little bit of bad luck, but I think this Tokai Teo is a solid spot, potentially qualifying for that last top 3 spot.
Yeah, consolation bracket, not quite a loser's bracket right now. I did put together the sheet in like 3 hours, so maybe when I put more time into it, I'll be able to do what no tournament site has dared to do, has wasted resources on doing, and make a double elimination bracket that's a 1v1v1. But
interesting. Okay,
it's a bit of a pain. Even the simple version, like, wow, that was a lot. Anyway, heading into the race itself though, again, pretty similar win conditions to look at, but this time the Tokai Teo, the one who is forced to run in the front here.
Yeah, Tokai Teo taking that front runner spot, of course. Is that Agnes Tachyon coming up right behind as well with the Ogre Cap? And waiting in the wings, it's the army of gold chips and the debuffers right behind with one late surger Ogre Cap just waiting and biding our time. She said, I want to wait for that triumphant pulse as late as I can.
Yeah, and we'll see if those Ogre Caps can proc their Triumphant Pulse close enough to the finish line, close enough to the front, most importantly, but also not be in that first place position and get overtaken by a gold chip.
Yeah, the evil and intimidating wall of gold chips just waiting in the back. Grass Wonder's like, no, I'm just going to let you pass, man. Like, when you just see a bunch of trucks on the freeway and you're like, I'm good. Dude, I'm just going to pull over to the side. You guys can pass. I'm good.
Yeah, it's getting a bit clogged up here as the Teo has dropped back. But here we go. Anchors away, and that's when the game really begins. Take a peek at the skills activating. Pretty soon we'll see the Excels proc, and which Excels proc is so important.
Yeah, I feel like we haven't seen a ton of debuffs coming out either just yet, so I don't know. They might end up hitting right after these recovery skills, right into this final straightaway, as the pack is so condensed towards the back. So far ahead is number 7, so the Agnes Tachyon. Tokai Teo actually ended up falling quite behind here, so I wonder if the unique is going to be enough to make up that distance.
And there's a defense coming in on the gold chips, but the Tachyon pretty far forward. The Ogre Cap, though, making quite the surge. And Ogre Cap might be in a great position here, both of them, but especially the one a little bit further forward with that Triumph Impulse. Not an impossibility as the velocity up goes as well. Tachyon so far ahead, but there's Triumph Impulse. Agnes Tachyon still forward, but the Ogre Cap rapidly advancing. So close, but it's going to be the Ogre Cap pulling ahead at the last moment and surging to the finish.
Ooh. It's not quite the Agnes Tachyon that I'm sure some fan favorites were looking for, but just barely by a neck, overtaking with the Ogre Cap. But the gold chips left in the dust, the wall just not able to make up the acceleration, not able to make up the distance in that final stretch. So, all right, we get a little bit of variety on the leaderboards here. Of course, still making it into that top 3, but Chun sent out here at that top 4th spot. Same for, let's see. Same for Bear, so that is Seraph Uwu moving on and taking our final top 3 spot here in the qualifiers.
Yep. Every familiar name from previous Carat Clashes has now been eliminated. It's going to be Starling, yes, Yellow May, and Seraph Uwu, JP Migrant. They're going to see who can be the new winner.
Yeah, we got one more match for you guys, so we're waiting for these gamers to load up into the lobby. But I'm curious, as we head into our final 3, so our last 9 Uma, who do you guys think is going to take it home? So Sayak kind of, walked us through a little bit of the behind the scenes and the color coding that you guys have seen. Of course, the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd is pretty easily corresponding to, who ended up taking which place in the bracket with their furthest forward Uma, right? But we're looking at Starling, we're looking at Yellow May, we're looking at Seraph, and they were seeded to make it fairly far into the into Carat Clash number 4. But again, it's none of these folks that were really seeded into making it into round number 5. But there's just so many new trainers every day. There's so many gamers that are constantly improving their teams that it's hard to truly predict who's going to make it into these last slots. So let me know who you guys are cheering on in this final match.
You can even cheer on with some channel points here. The predictions are up. We're getting a little bit close to the real life equivalent of Umamusume with that. Right. But yeah, it's definitely going to be hard. I personally don't know who to favor because, of course, all the teams are pretty similar. And I haven't really seen like a clear strategy that breaks the mold in this particular tournament, right? In the previous one, we saw the Harurara hybrid debuffer and lowering the pace to try and get either a Mana Top Gun or a Pace Chaser to have a big advantage over the end closers. But in this one, I think we're seeing a lot more of those strategies converging into just what works and what people have prepared for the Champions meeting itself.
Exactly. It's a solid team comp, and especially when you're not trying to theory craft on, oh, is this going to work? Is that going to work? When you have a tried and true kind of, composition that that you're aiming for, that just allows you to focus your efforts into, okay, now I know I need to high roll this run either to get that 10th, that 11th debuff on Nice Nature or Grass Wonder. I need to get just a little bit further on the power or the stamina on my Ogre to make sure that as an ace she's chilling and she doesn't get caught up by some of these Nice Nature debuffers as well. I mean, we'll see. And of course, we got to make sure that Gold Chip has all the stats in the world to, truly accelerate and steal that 1st place position, as we've seen time and time again.
Yep. Just waiting for everyone to get ready. But as we saw previously, we're seeing a lot of Gold Chips. We're seeing a lot of Ogre Caps. And, of course, the debuffers are a constant in this one. Maybe the reason why the debuffers were less frequent in the previous one is because people didn't prioritize training them up yet.
Yeah, and especially, again, it has been cool seeing the abundance of Umamusume global content on YouTube. My algorithm just happens to be 5 different people being like, oh, here's how you train up for Champions Meeting. Oh, here's how you train up your ace, Evil Nature debuff guide. Here's how you train up your debuffer for Taurus Cup. And the knowledge, right, I think has just spread so far. A lot of folks have had the opportunity to explain the same thing in so many slightly different ways. Maybe it makes a little bit more sense this way or that way. So the availability of knowledge, everyone talked about the reference document for so long, and now there's so many different resources that take bits and pieces of that reference document and kind of expand upon them or explain them in a way that's so easy to individually digest. All this to say, that probably is a big reason why we have so many damn debuffers. Now that everybody knows how to do it, because it is also a very different style of training, right? And figuring out how to, win with an Uma that isn't building up stats specifically for winning the actual race. It's been interesting to see. And we're going into our final match once again with Starling, Yellow May, and Seraph Uwu with some pretty familiar team comps.
Yeah, and what I'm actually noticing is I am really interested to see the exact stats of the 3 gold chips, right? Of course, the acceleration skills are probably the most important here. But before that, I guess, any surprises, or is this what you expected?
Let's scroll down and see those last 2 Umas, because so far it's not seeming particularly surprising. Okay, we're seeing a little bit of variety in the debuffer, right? We've seen some nice natures swapped out with Grass Wonders, and of course the Tachyon, right? One of these characters that we don't get to see super often. We saw her get knocked out in the top 9 and such a close second place finish, but there's still one representing here in the top 3.
Just gonna tab through all of the Umas here. I know that there's been quite a few requests on the exact details of all of the training coming through. And wait a second.
Yeah.
Wow, that's the R Sawan Suzuka.
Wait a damn minute. So many people are using, we've seen rare cards as far as Symboli Rudolph for a lot of our debuffers. I'm surprised to see this on, one of our end closer aces, right? So I got to go look at that card later on and see why we ended up including that. Oh, free left-handed. Oh, okay.
Oh, I would expect that people would, get left-handed in a different way, like through sparks or whatever. Yeah. But I guess if it works, it works. If you get the skill, you get the skill.
Exactly. Damn, I'm seeing so many white sparks on both the parents and the grandparents going on here. Like, you guys have trained up the legacy, the dynasty for these trainees.
Yeah. And it turned out it worked out here. Wow, this run was so lucky. Look at this. A grandparent with Mile,
wait, that's godlike.
A parent with Mile, but you still hit the medium S. Who is this? Yellow May? Wow, Umamusume smiling upon Yellow May here.
Yeah, that is solid. The 1200 wit, of course, standard for a lot of these debuffers. You want to make sure every single one of them is coming out. Paddock Fright. Oh, okay. So some folks will take the debuff to make sure that they're staying in the back and their position doesn't end up getting messed up. So that's cool to see.
Yeah, maybe also side effect of running a lot of races for those skill points, right?
Also true. Yes.
Oh, this skill
maybe it wasn't even intentional. They're just like, it doesn't matter to me, so yeah. It's fine if she gets a debuff. Damn, that's a sea of red, bro. Holy.
Yeah. And just debuffing everybody here. But
yeah,
it looks like we're gonna be heading to the race itself. The grand finals of Carat Clash number 4. The most preparations in an Umamusume tournament so far. And we'll see who wins it.
We're down to our final 3. Our last 9 Umas trained by none other than Starling, Yellow May, and Seraph Uwu. In-game name JP Migrant. Once again on the Tokyo Derby on this Tokyo turf, 2,400 meters, a medium race, left-handed. In preparation for the Taurus Cup, we got to find our number 1 trainer for Carat Clash number 4.
Last few moments here before we get going here. And you best hope that your Umas are in peak condition, that late starts don't happen, that you don't get rushed and all of that, but no longer out of your hands once the race begins.
All right, the races are ready. Ooh, a little bit of a late start on the ace there. I was going to say, late starts on some of these gold chips obviously aren't going to make too big of a difference when you want to stay in the back of the pack regardless, but already breaking so far ahead. The front runner, Ogre Cap, coming out from Yellow May, really dictating the pace. I mean, we saw this in that top 9 set too.
Yeah, it's pretty funny when the game just takes one of the pace chasers when there's no front runner and is like, yo, you got to become the front runner now. And that's
exactly.
It's a little awkward because that Ogre Cap might have some trouble later on in the race proccing that Triumphant Pulse. We'll have to see, but these gold chips on the inside edge, but we haven't really seen any reports or seen firsthand the gold chips getting stuck, right?
Yeah, so many times they've been like behind a wall of debuffers, but they've been able to kind of maneuver out of the way, whether through the inside or the outside. And so many times in the last straight of the race, we'll just see them coming up on the side. But yeah, this front runner Ogre is crazy. This is like stepdad Cap. It's not the front runner, but this is the runner who pulled up to the front when people really needed them the most. We're making it once again through the halfway point. Of course, marked by the anchors away. All of the ults finally popping for the gold chip as she tries to make her move on the outside. But one of them really caught and blocked on the inside. It's going to be difficult to try and escape.
Yeah, as we head near the final corner here, it's a bit of a close one. The Ogre Cap also fallen pretty far behind. Not the first one, but the one in the middle of the pack, like you mentioned. The debuffs hitting hard as well. There's the Excels, and there are the gold chips approaching as everything gets closer.
Yeah, the debuff still coming out from all of these nice natures as well. Anything to try and put a stop to these Ogre Caps so that the gold chips can take domination, pulling up in the triangle formation, but still Yellow May's Ogre Cap has kept this lead for so long, so many lengths, but we've seen gold chip come back from worse. Are we going to be able to make up for it though? Once again, the triumphant pulse coming up in the end, but the length difference might just be too much. Can Ogre Cap hold on to the first place finish? She can. Yellow May is your champion of Carat Cup number 4 with the Ogre Cap putting a stop to the dynasty of gold chip.
Wow, that was not what I expected. Forced into the front runner role. And Yellow May somehow gets it done. Is this the Ogre Cap with low stamina? It might be. Oh, okay.
It might be, yeah. Okay, 957. Pretty solid on the stamina.
Pretty high. Okay. Wow. That was huge. And yeah, the mechanic where a pace chaser becomes a front runner, is forced to become a front runner, can often mess up a lot of strategies. But in this particular race, with the gold chips being held back for a little bit too long, it worked out very well.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's so many of those previous races, whether it was round 3 or even that top 3 qualifier, you know, these gold chips, they just had so much energy and the power was so strong, right? That the acceleration was able to, you know, make up for such, you know, big gaps. But because that front runner just ended up so far ahead and Ogre had all the stamina in the world to start up that final spurt, as soon as we made it around that last corner, it was just so difficult to try and make up that lead.
Yeah, just well trained by Yellow May, and the gold chips have, in the end, been defeated. It is not going to be gold chip domination the whole way through.
Oh yeah, can we take one more last look at the Ogre Cap winning horse deck? That we can. So we just saw a quick scroll through of the grandparents, but it looks like, okay, we have SSR Suzuki. Oh, okay, so there's actually, it's not full MLB on the loadout, but it is pretty close.
Yeah, that's a lot of pulls on the Kitasan Black banner.
Yeah.
And yeah, just well done here. I guess we can take a look at the gold chip that almost got it done too. I believe this is the one that took it over a previous Ogre Cap, right? Yeah.
I believe so,
yeah,
yes.
With a Triumphant Pulse inherit.
Oh, with the okay, we saw that towards the end, and I was like, there's no way it happens again, man. We were like a head or a neck away from the same type of... Oh, actually, we were 1.5 lengths, actually. Jaitsu's got to get his eyes checked. These new glasses are not doing him any favors, as it turns out, but still a very close match here for our final top 3.
Yep, and with that, that's the end to another Carat Clash, the 4th one, to be exact. It was a pretty fun time, and thanks everyone for entering and watching.
Hell yeah. Thanks for having us, gamers. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the Umamusume PvP action in preparation, once again, for Champions Meet with Taurus Cup coming up on Sunday. But of course, I would be remiss not to thank the TO team and the organization team behind all of this. Of course, Saya setting up the spreadsheet on the side here to not only track where people are going to be going for their next matches, but also give us the opportunity for that round 1 and round 2 consolation cup as well. So all the flowers to Saya, of course, Hachi and Brickbat holding it down on the tournament organization end as well, making sure that you guys had all the help that you needed to figure things out between the room matches. It's a big shout out to the entire team that helped this run and made sure that I just got to yap and have a good time on the mic. Also, another shout out to the Starting Gate magazine. Once again, all of the proceeds are going to be going to charity, so it's going to a good cause, and you get to support not only that cause, but also get some of the beautiful art from the Umamusume fan artists in the EN sphere. So you can stop by startinggatezine.bigcartel.com if you guys want to pre-order as well.
Yeah, and if any of you are heading to Anime NYC, of course, I will be at the Umamusume meetup no matter what on Sunday, so be there
Yes.
or be square. But with that, I think that's everything that we have to talk about. We'll have to figure out who to raid, but other than that, I think that's it. Thanks everyone again, and drop a follow if you enjoyed. So see you for the next one, probably in a while, maybe a while. Hmm.
We might give you guys a little bit of downtime to recover from Champions Meeting, but if you guys want to follow the Bestie and Slot Twitter, you guys can get the latest update as soon as we figure that out. But thanks for hanging out. That's the end of Carat Cup, or Carat Clash number 4.